Please tell us your name.
아무래도 생 거리는 데 손로치 손으로.
Jangchup Palmo. Jangchup.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama asked us to record your experiences so that we may share your memories with many generations of Tibetans, the Chinese, and the rest of the world. Your memories will help us to document the true history, culture, and beliefs of the Tibetan people. Do you give your permission for the Tibet Oral History Project to use this interview?
다 고도 쇼나 신기 나 군중기 남대는 나버다 군중기 깔라고 그래 디셰송레 되니 프랑스 소발라고 그래 되니 모랑기 당연도 되니 되니 지금 다 배바 배바 마음박이 배바 초단 다나 신기 개미이네레 다나 신기 잠불랭기다 미만 솔라 되니 아무라다 당도 배박이 냠용주여라 봐 나중에 공연에 냠용지 쌓여라 다 디 되니 프랑스 되니까 비디오 나가 주야 레코드 쉐기다 중국어지나 되니 팬도서 인사레스 되니 지구 준생 칸에서나 되니 당도 벽이 최다 릭숑다 다디 마예체도 아니 팬야체도 되니 그들 레코드 주유스 아니 디치초에게 총전 유에스 아마라기다 지초를 왜서 아무나 총전 주요서래 총전 유나
근데 여우서 되게 로요라 그래. 되게 로요. 마라 강요버데 정보 휴브레스. 인디메 메세나 룸망보 요레스. 즉신이 팬토 텐데 오기레스. 되게 인데 초대초 가르수 트나게 해대요스.
So, of course, not only Tibet Oral History Project, but any historians on spiritual level, on political level, on any level, mainly on human level, may record her story if indeed it goes to help and be of benefit to others.
Thank you. Thank you for offering to share your story with us.
제가 아무라기 디카세
During this interview, if you wish to take a break or stop at any time, please let me know. If you do not wish to answer a question or talk about something, let me know.
알레 타디 지워틀린 지워 갑라 서와 가지 아말라케 니 지그 chaksan pegwa chikda teni chik tham shagwa yuna ani kuji teni amala ke ngolo songro chi so
Thank you.
Thank you. If this interview was shown in Tibet or China, would this be a problem for you?
ani kazi tadi chewatlen di peda yana lumbal tyengoreji na teni amala ke la di kangendo thesa de so no nyolo do sa de
나 강은 지야메스. 나 강은 지야메. 네 야나게 승자한테 나찌고 말이스. 네 가서 납중을로 보질 중요레스. 대신도 나 카카에 개발하면도 인한다 보고 불유 볼은 로시네 고저 나바기 효면에 나미히스.
If you ask me personally, I have no problem whatsoever because it's really for the betterment of humanity that we're doing this work. If in case there would be some problem for my family in near future, then I have no assurance that I don't know. But if you ask me personally, then I have no problem whatsoever.
Thank you. We are honored to record your story and appreciate your participation in this project.
Da kwanzo amala di kokaptewa di tenu kwanzo dibyo se takalawore gaso da teni kutu lawore kushap lawore takalawore sem ding teni ta jesu iran lawore ta gawo shu chung so ndo jire ta ani dila ta tik
얘네 등교를 가 들어와서 가고 싶으면서
and herself I think finds a great joy and privilege to take part in this project.
저 가게 나는 가게 나는 들어와서 와서 같이 semba dokumentis 가히우스.
So she says, please interview me in the spirit of joy and celebration. And I will do likewise.
I think I could not do otherwise. Could not do otherwise. So, Pamela, can you please tell me how old you are and where were you born?
I'm like a
Yes, sir.
Chungsa, Kawa Chungis. Any Konglok Kazi.
Tanda.
How old you are and when you were born?
Oh, and where were you born?
Where were you born?
Excuse me.
Ale. Konglok Kazi Chungsa Kawa Chungis.
Le. Ta nga ta ni lo dun stava ins ta. Yes, a pool games.
So she is
I am.
70.
Say I am, as if you were.
Oh, this is what I mean.
Thank you.
I am 70 years old, born in Tibet.
Can you tell us what village or city?
Chungsa di Chongsep Roji Kawa Chungis.
Nga di namru sesa te yeris. Chang namru sesa te. Da ngundu lhasa ke Jangchup ri doris. Lhasa chang. Lhasa di ta poda la kundu yusa teris. Chang se di lhasa ke chang le ngundu. Indu chang se goris. Chang namru sesa te namcho se ne choz goris. Ten chokor ta lo Tichi goris lo re le nang la lo jungni ge nang la te nego re che goris. Nego che se nganzo ine 손도 조금 나기 하다지 군다 걸어야 보죠. 그래서 정말 lo jungni ge nang ya. 디năng 지금 좀 효조리스. 남쪽 nang lo jungni lo 딱 lo tel lo jungni 요래 봐. 따로 tel 칸을 야 조르리스. 된 좀리스. 달로 띠들 라 자르리스 다 독시스 마 렘베 인두가 루글로스서 텔 다스 루글로 남초데 다 네좀 디베 갑레테 네코르코리스 메타마 네코르코르스
I was born in western Tibet in a region called Namru near this heavenly lake called Namso, and it is believed that annually there is this great celebration where many pilgrims from all over the Tibet would come and gather around the lake to celebrate, and so she was born during that time of the celebration on that auspicious day.
Pamela, what is your family's background? What did your parents do for a livelihood?
Ani amla kegita
바바다마
palada amlata yabyum konam teni di 제 토마도지 가리 가는 게
우리 먼저 다시 남부 생애디 족바레스 힘가 답사요 말스 탕다 족바데 가르시요스는 로야 다 되는 도서그 배주치는 되는 도서그 되는 지 농배그 짜 근데 마르추라 다 도서 배주치는 되는 고치교리스 먼저디 초아티기 효리스 초아데가 룩베메 요리스 힙 되는 노 되는 따 되는 라 되는 따 된저 요리스
so my parents and of course herself they were very much nomadic. Yes. So therefore, their livelihood was based on, the cheese, milk, and because the region was rather cold, so not much of a grassland, you see, and.
되는 세리 되는 샘팅이 배주 다 양데 무슨 녹바 샘팅이 배주시는데 좋아기 효레스 되는 군카 남 정모 배우레스 이나 먼저 강화된데 할람 요 말에서 딱 Meza traga reres membe sane bekhakoris. Kaisana hingjad me sondu ten kamba jaya hingorwa ten te kale kakosi
So,
orena.
We lived very much, like you said, like you said earlier, in tents. Very few, in fact, almost none had resources or means to build houses. And so it was the tent, you see, where they had their shelters. And
And how frequently did the family move from one location to another?
아니 다 슈사지어와
Ore.
아니 딱 사자도 가서 다 배우도
Unsare ngarange ta nge karhi nauzre wase ta se ngame de yo martinge demba den chambo thangya hyo se. Nge ge baba da ama da tunzo chi mesan traga da tese su tang goran na dele chono de turdua. Nundu chono tene reise indi dosa chik min rog mare se muzo. Lungba ni thoptan te hyo se. 첨부 근데 저 토단 니데 즉다 목소 도적도서시 즉앙 소가는지 짜미 교보 셈신 교보를 했는데 와 드랄 말 보사 로사서 드로그 말이스 딱 먼저 이나 베나다 초벤 곳이 세나 갈라 그러다 베나데 칼폼도 지샤이야인 다네 오리가인 뭐나데 지고르바다 뭐 어디네 인데도 먼저 도사 때도 뒤 대기리가 시고리서 먼저 다 가서
because I was born in a family where my parents were like the head of the region or almost the head of that there was a district if you like you see so as a result they didn't have to migrate much and so they were based in one location yes
And how?
나랑 나랑 아메랑 찍어지냐 있어. 아메가 나는데 말바에 나는데 다 나니게 든데레데 우리 문조는 칸바요리 고소는 아메 나는 칸바요리. 예 디시드 문조 든데도 우리 둘이 담바티. 데리.
That's all. So not only her family but also her mother's family and others also had that kind of influence or
칸바시면서 침보래도.
So they were quite a well-known family, if you like.
Family.
Yes.
And can you tell me something about your mother and something about your father?
Tani amla kegita yabyum kola ti chungro che so modo.
네게 테레세. 아마데 유바디 말하디 랍선 세메데 니 아메나레스 타이타스 라베바니 메자 쳔보레세야디 땡이 아메나레스 니 바베나 조나 타로선 세요레 디앙 데젠체 pom보레 디 대상 푸리 데니모 찰레 데네 메리시리스 초신은 다 본자 인정은 저는 그 포트포니 메리시.
그래서 그다 아무라기 야브도 윰 발아무라 니가 되니다 미산 친구지
포트포니를 데리스.
미네스
포트포니디 다 내가 파주는 게 유바데 캄리야 체조트리스.
아네라
데 캄리야 체조트리 데 먼저 남리랑 pom보신 메자 베 메세기 야보드는 베든 뽕 정보든데 뽕 두든데 말해서 베 정보 야보 무서디 비스 뽕보 야보든데 리스
네 아니 아무라죠
아마나 저도 딜이야기를 저기 거한테 지게 가서 그래 밸런스 시고르스다 더 본다서 되게
아무라 더 본다체 빨라
저는 다로상부
다로상
다로라도 티푸리
I see. So my father family were from the Kham region, one of the three sort of provinces of Tibet, and so they were very influential in terms of worldly affairs were concerned, if you like. And my mother's side, of course, were even more influential, mainly on the yes. So very much they were aristocratic, if you like, yeah, from a noble family, both my father and mother.
Pamela, can you please tell us something about yourself as a little girl? What were you like as a little girl, and what did you like to do?
공로 춘준 갑라, 공로 춘준 갑라. 되니 아무나 게 가리려 주요스. 아니 아무나 가리치야 가고요. 되도 갑라.
Oh, thank you. Dig question nga pe gayose.
So I very much appreciate that question.
Nge train dose chum kadu wana de train de dose.
So she has a very vivid and clear memory.
Duas chana tinde orise.
I'm sure when you have fond memories of that
Yes,
age,
yes.
you do have it in
Chum
your heart.
kare yam de train de gri. Oh, she nga ke du namso dose tele kire was.
네.
Ke undu lulo de ne kor go tele ke oris. De ke du trala namso ke so te ngonzu dosa phayule namso te te zo hungurese te ngonzu namso chingwa de marese. Mende te namso ke du nge meng ta ngonzu lamsa meng lame ta gore ngonzo meng tak tu mas phane lame ta go de chwa thi nyendam la pha irale ka ju ge te gore se gomba je gore ti ge das nang te da yi cho yi ge nam tu yin be ze chu ru ru mo se hyule da be ma se ge da 베드 히초jer 무인생 칸로 무인생이 기타한테 저리 두바자데 게지 다들 맹휴도와 세파나게 데 맹휴도 장첩 빠모 조송도와 근데 장첩 생 간세레세 파마가다 야 휴도와 오 대야 거래다세 장 신용 뭐가 탐지 장 슈슈스 슈근 컵도 슈스 장첩세 빠모세는 로마게 명데 라도와 오 따라게 내는 뜻이 다 파마게 된가 히보지 만라래 지 요리스다 다 히보 인삼 요리스 다 나랑 충충들 내장 수유태서는 먼저 연접도 뭐 그래서 내가 납드는데 오 디프도 빼요생아 디프 때네 보다서 빠때네 바디 처음에 바디 때빠 근데 nga 가요스 나를 트랜스들 나를 마치 나를 예능 분야도서 예고로 뒤도 육가 지치주로도 휴스 근데 박사도 휴스 담아사게 둘라
So definitely from early childhood, starting off with her birth were very sort of auspicious, coincided with many auspicious conditions, such as one I talked about earlier, the gathering, the great gathering of that prayer festival around that holy lake. And immediately following that, we have a tradition, the name-giving ceremony, where we ask the Lama or the Rinpoche in the region to give a name to a child. And my parents had taken me to this very well-known meditator who's regarded as a manifestation of Lady Ishit Thogel, who was one of the spiritual consort of Padmasambhava. And so when I was brought to her, the name that I was given was Jangchup Palmo, and Jangchup means enlightenment. When we translate that into English, the meaning even further. Chang means purified of all the faults, and Chup means one who is endowed with all the positive qualities. So relating to the state of enlightenment, yeah. And then Palmo means courageous ones, yeah. So sometimes that term is given to Mother Tara, yeah. And so that was very special already, on top of being born during that special day. And so then early on, I was very spiritually sort of orientated, meaning everything I would think, I would do, would be, to be kind, to be helpful, and most importantly, whenever there was opportunity, to offer any kinds of spiritual activity, mainly the offerings of the water bowls, lighting incense, lamps. You see, not only in her house but also in the house of others, she would go and take part in that. So early as little girl, she would find great delight, great joy in taking part, and so the memory, those were around that kind of a spiritual environment.
And how many children were in her family?
아무래도 남미 나올라 테니 부부
Brothers and sisters.
Total of 5.
And where was Palmo in that order?
아니 딘나올리다 아무래도
중표가 땅마디.
중쇼.
나리 춤 찍어요래. 대매 나 땅이
She's the second to youngest.
Second to youngest. Can you tell us more about your childhood?
아니 다 아무래도 지게 공로충을 qabla tindik
야야 이리 돼요. 되는가 이게 다 하고 찍다 암녀지 만족에 다 곰바디 날렌트세야서 요래세 날렌트세야 돼 먼저 장 다파 펜볼 하사기 니고도 날렌트세 펜볼 날렌트세 곰바지 요래서 사기야 곰바지 다디 곰바티 năng 땡 무서게 다 곰바나 장공이 되어서 다 무서 탁 링다면데 다 날렌트한테 무슨 곰바리 되어서 다 링보 요래 다 따바게 손 따자자 계속 니마 툭 때 따왜 니마 닝강 저기 닝강 툭로 그래서 무서워서 들이 곰바들 디 곰바티난테 라마 zmoren 보셨어요 저기를 보셨어요 다 라마 망보요 그래서 그래서 카키 창조디 라마닝게 창조디 네 아고 증에 아고레스 증에 암녀레스 zmo labran ki changdo yit chobje labran sa labran chi gores ta gomba te labran so mores odi labran chi di chobje labran di tanda de dua gobar o di gomba di nge ahyang chote ge changdo da leji chama nge ahyang chogori dores ana amak punya mo ahyang cho ta di 곰바데 장고 말이 로고레스 디 장고네 따디 가서 그때 로가 디디 곰바데 테레스 보고 곰바리 되어서 보다 톰보 테네 힘도 깨서 루트업나 돈사 다디 되어서 곰바들라 인디 먼저 곰카 청마 주어서 로고레스 날렌탈 파르보레스 페보 날렌탈 조서티 Lavrang thadi grace muzo khala muzo gumari lavrang thadi grade khawe na do ta muzo thukto rang res da sum gunkan da sum de grace te chu yin no je do muzo chu ha sa chu do lo ta de hil gunkan ro grace yer ka khun na chur phe yor jangale lama chang phe phyo na te na lama den phyo na mu ting na chi we na yin chi te ne muzo na ni hu grace 다디 요군도 네 기법 해버려서 또 기법 해법 동도라 피라만 제도는 라마 깽깽 추슈드는 투트었다 내기래서 다 추르 장하는 분들은 먼저 딸을 당당 배워서 무슨 로파라 무슨 그 따다 되네 horse 다 육혀 당그래서 라브랑 그 따다 무슨 따서 다 인주 빈자게 나사라 이나다 라브랑다 장한테 보이기 바로 이따 장한테 딸 so ang tangbo tondo ta tusi ta te kibas tani sijors
아니 나서 아니 전에디 청소디 아물라기
아고 모르리
하고 빨라촌에
빨라게 파츠 마치기 빨라게
스몰 보시기
정도
스몰은 정도제
정도 니 요리 니 즉 암니시 즉 빨라게 아우리 즉 발라 빈자리
Lasso.
내게 암니다 아무리
Lasso. So
저기 라랑리티 네 아향리
Chugul Labran the any Changsori.
창소리
Lasso. And so my family played a very instrumental role in administrating the great monastery of Nalendra, which is on a horseback ride. It would take about 6 days or so from her village. And this was an annual trip that I remember making, especially during the winter time, because that's more towards Lhasa and it's more fertile ground for the fruits and grasslands and so on. So during that winter, she remembers, or I remember taking that horseback ride, and there's a pomp and ceremony almost, everybody going to receive teaching and be with the great masters and so it was a great celebration for that during that time. And then during summertime, then those masters would visit the western Tibet, meaning to our village. And then at that time, on the return, I remember, yes, and then of course we would have camping along the way, and dancing, and also horse racing, and so there were many activity, the fun-filled activity. Lots of laughters and horses running and kids running around, and so very much a joyous occasion that I remember very clearly. In those times.
It sounds wonderful.
And then of course singing. And not only that, but also my uncle from both the family, from father's side and mother's side, were treasurer, or rather general secretary, for both of the main lamas, or the head of the monastery.
So it sounded like very happy times. Were you considered by your parents or other people as different than other children, or are you very much like all the other girls your age?
I'm like Palmo yorba. I'm like Pugu Shenda Manda or Doji Tongchin, Tonanda was the Dilaji Cage and Buddha, Tenderoji, they were thinking to us.
제 부분도 때문에 밤에 부분 집어도 생원도 가면 이제 집어도 자 강가 지단 강에 키면도 무슨 참마다 되면 장래 먼저 디 랍다요 말레스 랍다 메디 파마게 이걸 랍네 파마도서 거기 거제시고 이거 이러와 이거 시대도 이거 도시 랍네 먼저 보고 참마 이걸 랍게 그랬어 되는 단다 랍게 그랬어 제가 단다레티 짜에 말어 만달에서 오세 간선은 지금 메카게다 지금 날 잘래 강에 주는 알람상 무동 공개지 인제 무동 공개서 그래서 도시 뭐 힘은 도시 대바는 캔서 간 지금 근데 만달다 근데 칸데 주지고 있는데 셈 밤도 골라 가이나세 대해서 그냥 서로 만다디나 나랑 랑킹이 진도 그 랑송도 지 만달 돈도 도시.
So of course the parents by nature are always endearing and loving equally to all their sons and daughters, no difference. But given my nature, I somehow would naturally stand out. One such characteristic or feature is where whenever I would see some sad kind of event or a sight, be it baby crying or animals that are hurt, naturally there would be outpour of kind of a cry, and very compassionate by nature, as early as And so then the parents would, look at me as, oh, this is quite different amongst the others. So naturally, I would kind of, stand out, if you like.
And Pamela, did you have any wishes about what you wanted to do when you became older?
The lawyer, Conlechim Chimchow, the world, Nita, I'm like a mudoji, the Karichibu, Kari, Chigmitella, Karichina, decided mudoji, Shelson.
다 근데 매주 혈마 송세 얘는 먼저 나로 죽순을 디치티세 네 파마 그 사자가 람데도 쇼스 티 휴송스 람데세 띵고도 진다세 휴송 나왔음 람데 휴송스 휴드 파마게가 벳코는 딱 보고를 와서 로 죽순 딱 나로 추주 예반 저서 님봉 바바 투투데 바바자네 칼라 추주 찍 칼라 사테리 람상야 소로 공마바 투숨 소로 고레스 그리고 두타가 파마게 잘 내신 파마이 빠르고 누시 야비아도 땅아 그 히도 요사를 봐서 보고 충충 둘라 두두다 데크죠 말에 정말 고그리 라메 그 추냐냐 송도를 저런 고그리 녀그리 저도 도스바나 그래서 아직 얘네들도 추어도 혀 거면서 얘뭐라시 되는 도시 관심 나왔으면 얘 딱딱 넣어서 지금 내서 휴레서
So
보고 정말 요리해서 요대 먼저 보고 정말 요리 얘는 나다 무슨 진다가 동네 내그래 티나다 라메 티 대랑도 호세
one clear event that was a very important turning point, if you like, was when she was 13 years of age. Even though, of course, no ambition or aspiration to do in direction which I wanted to lead, but there was a strong impression that was made. It was during the teaching event, the major cycle of teaching called Lamdre within the Sakya School of Thought, where it is presented from ground until the fruition, and during that, often the timeline that it takes to complete was about 3 months time, and so when you're young at that age, you sort of your attention span is not short and also quite easily entertained by other things. And so initial sort of phase of the teaching was she was feeling a little bit of distracted, and then her parents would look at her and say, oh, this is very important, the master is giving you a teaching, you see, almost like the nectar, you see, that will lead towards the cessation of the suffering, and so please pay attention to what is being given here. And so because she was so close to these masters, because of her family's influence, that she was sitting very near, and so she paid very close attention, and then she said, I don't remember very clearly what was being said as far as the meaning, the profundity of it, but I felt it was almost very musical, so it was very sweet and very heartwarming, you see, mind cooling or heartwarming to listen to. And so I didn't waver, or I didn't became so I stay put, you see, throughout those 3 months in one sitting, meaning didn't get up, or didn't go out, or so I kind of completed the entire cycle of teaching for the 3 months.
Was the teaching given over a 3-month period?
Over a 3-month period, yes.
And she sat entranced and moved,
yes.
deeply touched by the teaching, and
very
very still.
Yes, very much still.
Is that right?
Yes.
For 3 months.
3 months, yes.
And you were How old?
13 years of age.
13 years of age.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tene tanga drum sab rojira da sekiro.
So that was sort of the first, early sort of
Turning.
introduction, you see,
Uh-huh.
towards the path of Dharma. So it was just a knock on the door, if you like.
Yes.
Tene
Please, it sounded like it filled you with happiness and delight.
The yaguji ngindu duka la tini amla kiran la tini sem ding ni chin gasu da tini sem now ki ushi uji shari sare ese.
desyo.
Yeah, indeed.
Please, tell me more.
Diko la sunglo shi da kanido sem thowa do kanit ke so.
Sanje ge sung senge de da magi ngzu nang di ngado namlan mimaro padre hendong doya de la lama dende hya de chug dra ngzu nang ti la chan chegyo mares. Te me de chik sanje je de samsung da ta thari chu sung de da na sanje je de ori sam lama de sanje de sam ga de da donji khala sa sa ta ya chong ro ro nēs 보고도 자생만시도 단 로도시면 제마제 실용 로도시도 와. 그러니까 제마제 중에는 다 제다 갈 다들 상연제 유산 네 다뭐 유로 말한 그래서 파마 마디 공가 쪼가 되던 효세.
Because our family were very, it was Tibetan in general, very spiritual in nature, but our family in particular had a great affinity with Dharma. That from early morning till late in the night, you would hear the sound of Dharma, and so everything around Dharma, was very much integral part of whatever they were doing, you see. So I grew up in that kind of atmosphere. So it was very natural, but it became even more powerful when I was in the presence of a master. To me, I felt like I was in front of a Buddha himself, and that what I was hearing was these direct teaching from Buddha. And so during the break time, when other kids would play around or get carried away with other things, I would feel, oh, when can I go back and sit and see the Buddha in person? You see, so I was always looking forward to that.
Yes.
Setting and receive teaching, and so that had a very strong kind of impact.
Impact on
Yes.
her, yes.
내가 다시 다리 효리 지소는 아메게 조조서 나랑 아양 못 중세 날렌트기다 참바 천삼세 딱 날렌트 링 가문나는데 천삼은 키레지 되고르다 매 남아지 천삼세는 다 니네 치로 무동 대체 미제 코랑을 주시스다 강바티나도서 미제 코랑게 대시야 되지 모르세
Amlagi
네 아양리디
and then
차라마세 참강 차라마세
not only that, my uncle, from my mother's side, was a great meditator. He was a hermit who had committed, or rather dedicated himself, a lifelong of retreat, that he would not get out from the retreat, and that he would go into, you see.
나네탈이오리
Yes.
테네 디게데 아양게 숨도 당무서 짜사요레세 공자이리야 로사요레 손디추 삽사 디아 추슈도 님바데 나도스 지리가다 직당문도 지리를 가버레세 드디 근데 데이터 보고 처음에 데시디 테냥 가게 보고 망보 나야 팀 안에 근데 다 마연조 시기 되는야 로마도시 아양군이 짜르지세 아양게 네바소다 디아코도 시기도스 티 간지 네 아양한테 잡아서 유망아 둥랩지레세티
So, once in a while, I would get an opportunity when other master would go pay a visit to the retreatant, especially in this case my uncle, that I would, go along with them. And so when I was there in his presence, that he would give me sweets, candies and other goodies. And so I remember that part also very clearly.
That's sweet.
And of course the stories, there are many stories related to him comes later in her life.
Yeah.
Good, good. I would like to ask something that many people might not understand, but in her family, Palma Lao was saying how there was a practice of the Dharma just permeated the whole life. Can we please have some understanding of how that was manifest or expressed? Was it at meals and walking around? What way was it so pervasive?
다 중중간라더니 아무라기 다지 갈라고래 쇼게네 진 공다보다 다 최기 나와직다 최기 자와직다 최기 잡을라고래 최전장 갈라다지
Someday 요새.
삼대 지 여러 번 거리도 오지다
허리.
디 간데도 오지 갈라더니 자 내가 간데 갈라 잡도 그래서 디 공바제들에 다지 그 가리 간데지다 샬라 쇼도 갈래세 야 간데지 지도 갈래 최기지
다
나와도 오지
지 제야지 여러 와다. 보고 제야지 봐. 제마지 등아 너즈 기름 디디 요 라마인가시. 인디 초송인가시 너 가게 들이야로 메야 트릭스 디인가시. 근데 제마제도 두째데 요새. 이 강이 된다게 나와 했대도 지 초바 푸인 지 라마를 초바 푸 소소니 로 단다 니 만족이 단다게 다 장게 내가 내 말이 있어. 지 추가 자원은 다 팔때 때는 무슨 소동은 대마소만 빼면 때도 남상에 지금 과싱해 때데 무슨 타와 지기라. 근데 지 가르 집에 때 대치기요리.
다 저디 인사래 다 디다 아무나 케기 무슨
아루
걔랑 냠뇽도 네
당 아루 냠냠리.
자 지기 지여와 지기 땅도 코리기 내단지여와
그래.
자 최기 디 갈아오래
그
나와도 샤딩이 지여와
그래.
최랑 지 갈아오래 지그 다다 지그 투바다 마도 다르서를 매버체 지 최기 지 나와도 지 컨디션이 나서 모두 자 지니
일단 미게 무슨 메디비 무슨 다 포바이 지기 세레베.
로직이라는 또 아무나 계란서 남미 지여와
무슨 남메데 텐데시 거야디 파마 추가래도세. 추주인데 추디 나노래야 히데 짱짱 요레스. 나도 남베 추디 나노 다 추상을 히데데 온기레디 피스 페고레스. 디 파메기 피스 부글 때 부글 피스 부글 때 온데 엔테고도 나데랑 히지 가서 그러지. 근데 현 잠보다 지 푸탁보스 독스.
I think
생정마다.
of course all major world religion encompasses the principle of peace, kindness and compassion, and Buddhism is no exception. Therefore, in our family, my parents were the sole sort of inspiration and the what do you call one that kind of embodied these quality, and therefore the immediate effect was on us, you see, as a child, and so that kind of set the atmosphere, you see, one that of warmth, one that of love, and so it became quite natural for them to think along the lines of need to cultivate mindfulness, need to cultivate kindness, need to cultivate forgiveness, you see, because the foundation was very much on that, very warm and caring. And so whenever, in her case particularly, whenever she would see, small insects being, being manipulated or being, trapped by the bigger ones, she would sort of separate them. And small things, you see, her immediate reaction would be that of kindness and compassion. And also when she would play around, it would always be in the spirit of, you see, that that mindfulness and in the pure perception of seeing even these playful article in the form of a deity. You see, she wouldn't see them as rock, but rather we see, this is this Buddha, that is that Buddha. You see, so always very much you see that kind of purity of the perception. Yes.
Perceptions. Yes.
네 단계 아멘 나한테 대문은 로바게 혀 맞아서 요 말했다. 로바 혀 사고레스. 대문도 아멘 나한테 혀 사 말했어. 본전 첨보를 되는 사요 말했어.
So, as a nomadic family, and the region in which we were brought up, our sort of means of food was meat, right? But in our family, especially my mother's side, we would abstain from eating meat, and so.
And then, how does your... Does she want to tell?
죽숨네. 너 죽숨 넣으면 육내 차스데 뉴스. 육내 나오네. 당먼저 현 로발 칸파이 혀 말했어. 네 짠 잡좀 한다스. 먼저 나는 칸파이 요레스. 얘들 당먼저 나는 칸파이 요 치들 라가 요 라마 교동 요레스. 암조 텐데 나는 탈리 땅 잡아 텐데 교동 요레스. 먼저 디 육내 욕성스. 육내 차 해. 차니 되게 요레스. 육내에서는 가서서는 제네스 과리시. 니마즈 칼라서 니마즈 칼라메시. 샤자는 맞아오지. 니마즈 칼라서 상용과 인공적 란치적 사태 요 말이. 오 텐데치는 육내 차서 내 유스 보고 줄로 죽숨로라 해서 돼. 다 되네. 주기를 로주기로라 되네 야 다 먼저 사살이야 로디 되네 때스 야미게다 야미들 랩데오리스 다 랩도스 투디 통고도스 랩데르다 얘나다 야메 랩히도 다 야메 마도 히보스 랩도스 사살 히보스 다세세 망보 코데도스 되네 먼저 야야 로디 다다 뉴네테 타바히다.
So, again, at the age of also again at the age of 13, she did intensive practice for 4 days called Nyungne, which is a fasting ritual. And the main deity that we invoke is the Buddha of compassion in Chinese. And we recite, the mantras, of compassion, meditate on compassion, and refrain from eating meat, and basically refrain from eating as much as possible. And so she did that in practice. Denny? Also from engaging in verbal communication. Yeah, so silence was observed.
카게 부모지 거래서 나게 로바지티 독가 제에서 효성에서 아지 코티 야고 때문에 제 중마선스 다디 두포요 칼리요 같다 테네스다 칼리 효성에서 가 디가르바다 효자리 테네 유마는서 다디 니네 트롭치디 된다 로주기로 된다 사살 로디세 파망문도 다 사살은 다 야는 nombre 레기도아 다 야면레도 다 람갈레제 엄드스니 야면 그 루드네 베트코로 야메게 디 티 텐데 도보기 간다 야야 쿠르고 티레스 따심보 텐데 쿠르고기 텐데 다 야리 야rumlam가 먼저 사살이 니 소바루글라 티 야티 손에 다와진 거들이 샤고 숨진 거들이 나도 축지 주면 물어래 다다 계속 손이 니와 투고 지금도 먼저 나와지 걸레트 로스 담보 다 남가래 야메 또 실라가 타진 큰 분도 정말 직설가 긴 직견도 하고 거기서 사 도모를 내온 사람과 정 못했네 현로없이 몇 다른 데에 야려도 딱 먼저 이 절정도 먼저 잘 가운데 아지 다이야 닝지가 저서 투바쳐 볼고 살았어 딱 먼저 투바쳐 볼 그래서 지송 방학이다 거를 보고서 남가려고 투바쳐 볼지 도가 잡아서 꽤네 거기면도 찍찍아 거기면도 눈도 좀 쓸까 그 향도 가 쪄도 가 진짜 야매.
Yeah, so on our way
로주기
to
nga 로주기로.
Lhasa, the central Tibet,
At what age?
I was around 14 years of age, and on a horse ride, it would take about 6 days. But then, if you were to take yak, that takes about almost a month on a journey. And so during this visit, at the age of 14, what we saw was a great number of Chinese in their uniform marching towards,
망보도 스타.
on the horses, and big tall horses with their uniform, in the back, with the backpack. But they look very, because they were entering into Tibet with a high altitude, and they looked very pale, and looked very, the condition looked very sad, meaning malnutrition, cracked lips, and the skin's peeled off as a result of the chill winds and so on. So she remembers, I remember feeling, not only myself but also my parents and others immediately needing to care for them. You see, let's offer them food, shelter. You see, they don't look very good condition, and so they did that. We had no idea what was the intention of their visit, the purpose, why they were coming, but they looked like they needed some help, and so we helped them.
That would have been 1957.
Yes.
되는 말로 다 야매 강대도 화살 이는 가에 농네면도가 냉가면도 다양색 때기도 다양색 내가 때서 그 다양 때가 되지고 빼야 때는 때는 다 화살 기본시 돼도
야매
돼.
So when they actually finally made it to Lhasa, then there were even more Chinese, and they didn't seem harmful, or didn't show any sign of wanting to harm, you see. No sign of ill will, nothing. In fact, they were very jovial and very, considerate, and so much so they were even handing out money, giving money, and you see. Yes. And so they didn't feel any sign of threat whatsoever. So this was at the age of 14. So
그래 되게 효신 되네. 라사게다 pena podalande yonaroa. Di nyekor podala nyekor kuda tanga mambo nema deorwa. 그래서 처음에 rum종 다양래 다양 갑때 메시르텐 정말 거르장 양디살. 다 양시지 뭐제 희기면도 와서 다 무슨 공야고 코코산 된다 빼켜 다양 자자 양은자자. 양은자자 때문에 내가 꾸라만 뭐지 디 신은 양은데 종샤리도 다들 무슨 나를 먹으러 맞좀 희름에 보러 왔어요. 고대도 왔어요. 되는 것도 다뭐그 어디시 띵알로 주기 다 로중에로 다 주기를 두시 기보시 돼도 자 갖고서 뭐도 되는 것도 팔로 정하네. 장로 그게를 대단도 로중에로 맞중아이 디철로 거는데 되는 먼저 바로를 나게 아고다 먼저 다스 라브랑게 나렌트랄에 육사다 만조고 바로 텔라 텔레폰이 요 말에 되네 따따 지 방생도 먹으래 매스 뭐 얘기해 뒤매티 얘기든 캐르츠 아무래다 근데 방생 당선 성문도 당에 아고도 저 사살이요 봐 사살다 나렌트랄이요 다이아고자는 만도 야매기 빼면서 이제 캔터로서 시작했다 큐스는 요거 가세 훔툭툭 네트워크 잡혀다 무슨 좋은 매매 운사 말이 사살 효스 다 렌랩 매직 되는 먼저 러시아만 로바 장을 차린 좀 로효리. 차린 표정이다. 야, 탐지 차린 대자리. 단 로시 지역만 되는 게 빨라 향인 될 말씀으로 같이 뒤도를 나시. 먼저 희송 나서. 다가서 해야 송다.
That's all. So when they returned back to their home in Western Tibet in Namru, then we got a message from a messenger, which was coming from my uncle and others from the monastery from the central Tibet. The messenger came with a note saying that it's not safe now to stay, that there is a word that China is on the mode to attack, and that now please come to Lhasa, don't stay in Namru. As soon as we heard that, we were not prepared, of course, and on top of that, many of our members of the region were on their way to get the salt. Yes, you go get the salt from the lake. And so all the yaks and many of the important heads were all gone on their journey. So we were in a state of sort of, not knowing what to do. Yeah. Tini?
This is the Munzo Plaza of the Hota in Plaza Tichitardos. Commonly, the Dome Hortardos, Yamig Zintardos, Talhasa Zebrendus, Taine, two gris, that two namadota, Jig Magam get the young Maris, Jig up let the Orva. She did two grises within Munzo. Two gurids Zimorumbachi kundu the Mundo on the Kawan Hun and Hiru on Yaz and Sailor Nan that took your meme, he said, that Magana Hindu and Sundu Hakomari said. Then the Anja now about to so toxic and that you so Charlie the Yato the Tuxia to your Mundo no strong, then Yagalia that Yagar Kalumbo thing in Ahotin Royume. The moment Yakalumbo Center was enough.
So then another messenger had come and said, now no need to return. So China is attacking already in Lhasa and other important areas in region. So it's time that we all flee. There is no hope in staying back, and so we heard that His Holiness has also fled to. On his way to India, you see, and so we will do likewise, and so we will go in one direction, and then you come in another direction, and we'll meet in the middle somewhere. I don't know in direction in which, but that was what was said. So there was no point in sort of contemplating, to go back. Basically, the idea was to flee, to escape.
How did they get the message by phone? And was this from relatives living in Lhasa?
No phone. It was messenger from the. So 제가 지가 랭쿠르게 됐어 이나 선.
May I chomdo may abala.
알레 랭쿠르게 소리.
I chomdo kurumri.
알레.
Chomdo Lazali orwa.
알레 라서.
Tim no, can't think no. That was a Kojimara, Laza can't see Kumar.
So of course, there was no media, no way or means of communicating, but there was a messenger sent by her uncle who had come on a specific purpose
from Lhasa,
who had made it right to the family.
Okay, I got it. So this had to be right around 1959.
Ngapsu
59, yes.
Right.
So she was around 15 years of age.
Yeah. Right. And when she made on that journey to Lhasa, it would take a month by yak. Was that journey made by yak? That first time they went to Lhasa?
사살라 근데 약간라 된 다와지 페브라
tudu 좀도 그냥 um게되도다. 강마
Yes, it was
이
made
방말래
by-
운사르바 마마하마 고레스 문도.
So of course they were innocent, they didn't know what was happening,
디하마고.
and so there was no awareness that the Chinese were actually coming in not to settle but to invade and to attack. And so yes, so they did make that journey by yak.
Could you please tell us what was the feeling in the family when they heard Lhasa had been attacked and that His Holiness the Dalai Lama had escaped? What was the feeling in the hearts of your parents and your family?
다 사살라 딱 그런 거 재미게 되니까 지금 교회라고 그러다 가려고 그래.
막잡소.
막잡으로다.
매교 잡소.
다나신기 매교 잡은 다나신기다 장라다 고들레 병어체 되니 군두 되니 야갈라 파페서 제주도 같으니 아무래 케기 바라다 아무라 찍깔로 나와도지 간이도 소와도지
다
그렇게
문도 소라디 사살이 된 말운도 왕문도 사살이 문도 남갈래. 자사 센터게 숨세서 거기 당문도. 자사 센터게 숨 동자 오르자와. 참마 좋은도. 문도 남가 투도. 참마 좋은 자사 센터게 숨 마휴. 우메나티가 베트거 마르고 마정정네 도록 마르고 콘도라. 좋은도. 좋은 카히에 협상문도. 카히에 깨라문도. 다 무섭다 계속 너무 좋으세요. 다는 누가 임베게서 신마로 좋으세요. 내가 콘서트인 자사 세라 리봉 간데 디나는 그래서 정말 텐타 다 재미게 되는 비게 사사데 그래서 정말 사사 매저 잡선 세문도 공부를 매저 잡는 멘다 잡시선 대시도 생각에 좀 담지 도움을 남갈 독선 무서 다 장을로 온다.
네네. 나서 저든 아무라게
빨라마 차로가
빨라 아무라게 텐지 가려고 그래.
서로를 다막 혀리 되는 통도 같은.
통도 간 가리도 송송송도. 다 지금 기도 거지어와. 다디 교슈레 지금 야고를.
근데 맞아디다. 다 도그린다고 저도 지금 다 그는 멤버 타고 가이선 마르코리 랍도 발라티다 가르서 그래 해 기갑즈 마르코 멤버 기갑즈 이나다 타고 간 잠디 기갑즈 그저는데 음보레 세 잠들한테 다디 마르코 마르코시 튼 sakpar도 추를 당보 히오지 인도 대가서 보바디 남바 상게 바즈 히치데디 탑벳 잠게레도 그랬다
네네.
다 대사 대위다 삼세 섬이요 말레스 벳 잠구레서
So as they were returning, yes, as they were returning, what we were seeing was not only Chinese but also now many of the monks, they were sort of fleeing after the word got around that now China is here to attack and to expel the Tibetans from their homeland. And so she remembers, so I remember seeing many monks, you see, some with barefoot, some robe not nicely, sort of carefully intact, you see. So rather in a very unprepared, you see, fashion, basically fleeing for their life. So there were hundreds and thousands monks and nuns, and so you could see, red color, if it flooded the whole area. And then her family, especially my father, her reaction was, if this was any other nation, then yes, there would be some way to discuss and to talk or have a dialogue to reconcile the situation. But because this is against Dharma, and Dharma is looked upon as a poison, and therefore there's a very, very slim, almost no hope, and no way to resort this dire situation. And so only way for us at this point is to flee. Because this was communists that were attacking, and so they had made up their mind, and it was decided that yes, the best would be to flee.
To flee, of course.
Any?
Yeah.
내는 투시대 때문에 참 랩송스 다 대행 그룹들었지만 이게 힘다. 다 장 레온 당도이데 담용도서를 야가 jam이마이는 대지가 요만티 요마 jam이 남당소야 또 무서 음셀람가래 다 남당은 제세 그때 라지게 너무 남당시 jam치 너무 사살 저 좋은 무서 다들 라데 돈 랑골 데디다 jam이게 남들 밥이 되게 어렵다서 다 먼저 누가 인동도로 봐 먼저 단단 누가 로데로 다 가는 센터에 땅아다 나 보고로 왔다 나다 때문에 롱에디 지금은 충노다 로지비 종아리다 얘도 규서잔만 가지고만 로마밥 되는 누가 계셔시고제 미히고 잡아도 생각하라 되네 다 도마 뺏기만 레레 맥혀와 들이마 통는 gem이 막다 누구들이 저기리 이게 룽베메 튀움스 만로 나 봉학에서만 본디죠만 얘 룽베메 튀움스게 되는 무슨 룽베메 차래 룽베메 도도시무스만 도긴 타르게테 타르게말 삼달라르 땡아 땡이 돌아인데 가래 있는 강행에 된데 트랜소스 땡에 빠발라 된데 라치디 다 돌아지세 땡아 마르송 마파파 야가티데 메산텐데 동고구데로 야면 고구데 tonton meze야 또 상당한데 누가 가기데 링고사도 교수께서 말내는 시대 교수님과 교수 인동도 싫어시 무슨 파창 롱에 있을라면 말이 야 인데면서 게면 보고 차식 많다 땅스 때문에 되게 relé pa cosa ora vata tengo ma ticha pa un yamenge kuzo metiso yemezonda si chiga muso cionto mas 당고서 대제 텐디파 통찰을 텐 장사리 텐 장사를 야면 문도 렌즈 야면데 워리티는 막미 샤리디메다 아네 텐은 판로인 봐 텐마제 당고서 나온 접시디 텐은 사만 모두 패미게 아블린 지 말아봤다 고지 인디 쇼가다 그러다 베나이네 지 오리가이네 오리간게디 고고나게 지 신은 텐은 그저 요 야나 코르코 부선 르 말아봤다 어때 뒤탐지 동마트게 되네 무슨 거서 된 거는 딱 본다 기와게 남가니 모레 땅도 약통 따따 gemlep드세 딱 사마 야lep처다세 땅도 좋으래 딱 좋으래
다 야달lep서와
야 말에 야lep라데 케라 야lep데 말고 다 막말lep드세 야 막매
야 마미 거라 니고라들라 망미라 말베
막매다 디니는 그냥 청강신 다양하게 되다 매상보도 시대도 우리 경험아
알레라
다 되다 막매서 저다서 사산 효사티스리
알레라
사사 효사도 다 요마 다소치가 요마 땅으로 종 효사로 와
레레레
되는 거서 발 향해 된 곳이는 되는 다 효과돼 매망 강요지로 탐지 된 것도 도리 다야라
사진 마페 온도가라 단다 곰바니 단다고디 날란다네 마페 온도가 람쇼라르베
람요르리 타다스니 람효들이 계셔 다들 람상제도 쿡쿡레도 막무탄지 다리 게만에 나닝디 롱게말디 껴몬제 뭐 두비탄지 막말이도 마음 로직서서 다 로직 미스 너 인정도 되지 된 막장으로 사사 매교 또르송 먼저 대요리 사사 매교 또 매교 짠나 호르스 근데 패처도 와 되는 거죠 야
남쇼리 마페 온도 갈라테니 아무라 가르치면 가르나서 fondu 대요 세우지 팀민도 된다 아무지 손도 가라
네 남게 다시 년제 타나도 저도 디 남조리 유비 디 순스데 년제 타네 탕데레 거디요리 남도 바다요리 남도 아바자스 다디 바다한테 때 먼저 이제 온도 남조게 다 라조리 디 탕레리 유비 라조리 뜻다 내레시네 나네자리 보리 사사쇼리 내 장리 남도 쇼리 내 레조르다 다 먼저 네가 내래 네가 내래다 네 만은 야가르도다 야메기 야가르치 되는
니들이 딩고라서 디송바 디 장레 녀라 되니 암라케 마티니 갈세
뭐또 되죠 테테제디 딜랑고 딩에 메상 티선다 다 단대 gem에 어디 gem에
근데 야합했으나 되는 저 재미녀라 메라.
근데 말이
아무래도 디니파
말에 야는 말다 디 말에 카쇼 유쇼 말에
알레
사사다 장이 이거 바로 물어대는 거 사실 나네 야다 페이스다 디니
알레라
노티레 줍든 레바
나서
다독시 온도 주로 주용에 로라 되는 디네 망에 마치송 땡고서 뚝 땡고서 야 장을 랩송다 다 장을 랩면 된 조리다 참 효과 어찌 매지 잡다 매 어찌 잡다 가게 바 푸푸 쳇다다 들어 야면 된다 봉을 가게 직진다 양들 야rum래 저기 먼저 파스 년람 남서가 년람 저기 남서 남다 링 남서 거기 주소도 추나마 야미가 막 야그네 하다가 거기서 초남도 열절 다디 가기 망보죠
네 손도시는데 소소소
초나 소소소 답에 랩 판주야 초나 힐다 추나
알레 랑시도
랑기도 잠
알레
다들 무슨 다야 정도 다다 기는데 아메리카게 대시송아 군주 포기하송아
알레
남들
알레
포기하는 아메리카게 흉다 인지세 디 인지때
아디
땡은 파
sabjad도
어떻게 말로
예
그 말로 같은 것도 야로
Okay, we need to translate.
이제 그 유리쳐 그래서 뭐 이니까 유시엘라 지금 깨져지기로 와 도도도지 지 내어지 지
우리 야견으로
자켓도 와
우리
자켓도 갈더니 닝보로 오지
우리 다 님부 투네 우리
닝보지 송신나데
어디래 다디 대시기리라데 무서 되네 멘단 정말 에메게 고고 때조레세
네
되네 무서야 막무시네야 무서 막맞다 보통지 막무시오너시 봉화다 제가 담신 소대 용도된 야메게 때다 네 또송스 그 공화지가 담매 희버도 돼 정보 희야미해
다 주더다
안돼 되지 되게 맞 매기 버전소
알레
매 중무선도 다 매디 칸레 다 모잡데 매 모잡이 오데 모잡는 다매모 될때 오타 야민사레세 되게 무슨 야민사 딱세 돈을 고지고 이메지 그거 돈이면도야
알레 나서 yes I think I've asked her to essentialize it
Have some water.
chapter yes so I have not much to translate because it's more of a nitty-gritty details
We'd like to hear that.
yes
See what you can remember.
that sort of taking many twists and turns of what I witnessed, what I saw, and so then more on a succinct note, you see, trying to essentialize to where you get the real, the essence of what was taking place, and so that is when the attack took place. There were many Tibetans who sort of
남소
남자 라시제들
랑잡 랩 뜸주선다
I see.
매교 잡 남칼 매교 잡 요를 모타 육 멘다 잡 따케 육치듯 손은 주요
because they were attacking from all corners, yeah, from the sky, from the earth, excuse me, from the space, you know, they were sort of grenades, I guess, thrown, and then from the ground, you know, there would be army with artillery, so from all sides, from all corners, from all directions rather, they were being attacked, and so many Tibetans, I saw them jumping into the lake, you know, almost like it's better to die in the holy lake than to be killed by, you know, the communist China, and so it was almost like they killed themselves rather than being killed, and so many jumped into the lake. Any?
팅 먼저 다 렉남데 주송 말이 경말에 들이안로도 막 먼저 남칼든 점다 gemele도 jamak jamal에도 세계 잡송 슈주 쇼게 슈주 다 현로 다직 서는 로인 다직 송도 다직 서가나 내내 정보 첨부 육 내내 지팅이 바로 그 충충돼서 현로서도 내내 현로들다 야망을해도 세트르기 장도 내내 참아로 멘다들이시다 단정거로 현재 내내 단지 소식은 추수 주가 죽서 인사다 다시 기압송 꺼져서 이 멘다스 기압이야도 그러 징징징징징징징징징징징징 맥타타 너 징징징징징징징징
건다서 주와
딱 주소 말이 혁이 주소
주와니
주와니 생생송생생 거를 빼만 좀 내기 캐스송 매세송 따세송 따고려 다 뭐뭐 세세송
so as early as around 10 o'clock
먼저 파일이야 두는 다직 송아리
파윤이 거트래
다 가르야 니 간세 또 다는 가래 근데야 문도와 야래야 문등 지려 왔다
so of course having left their homeland the Namru on the way towards the mountain region of Mount Kailash right
그래서 말이
Kailash 말이
등어 말이 홀라 문도데 들이면서
towards India basically leading towards India because they have heard that Islam had settled in so fled on the way then of course like many Tibetans were being killed and also as early as 10 o'clock in the morning early as 10 o'clock in the morning she would hear this continual sort of sound of gunfire you see not there was no pause or space or gap there was continued the round of fire being shot and people were screaming dogs being killed horses being killed people being killed you see there was a scream there was that unstoppable sort of noise a chaos of turmoil you see of cry and of death and suffering basically
전에 주도 아바 투바 세계 사람을 보고 전에 받아서 혀 스타 재미도 좀 스티마도 좀 말아
건다서 주가
투바
and then around evening
then family bed tor스타
around 6 o'clock then my father was killed yes that evening yes
Where are we located?
the color is it
다티 사샤티 윤국 정보도 티티리
it was near the lake of Jangchup there was a lake
정보리 육수리 돼
it was not a lake it was a river actually Jangchup river yes it was somewhere in the bank of that river that her father was killed that evening
Shot?
yes shot
yeah
Was he with the family?
our family nyamdo was it
family nyambo was it
yeah of course the whole family
all together
yes and then our father was killed then siblings were killed then everybody sort of dispersed
then
Look at there. Yeah, that's where she was shot.
yes I'm not sure this is
shut
true
단 내내 지겹지 내내 동히라 단 내내 지겹 니겹 숨겹 내내 sur동히라 내내 파르겹 내내 다 내리동 다 tragic 거지 소리라다
yes so yes I was shot and
How many times?
in condom two
다 두그래도 왔다대
six times
두지 라바니네레레레 예로서다 깜발을 두그래
come back to the
까바네 내지그래 봐 내내 지겹 니 동야리
1, 2.
so it was shot
지겹 동야리
yes and then it pierced through the back
네 니리
Bottom.
지겹 니리 동도와 내를 지겹으로 슝슝 내단 대직시 니시 숨지 때 숨게 니리 동선 시리다 가리라 부르다
there's some two is there some namju
두그래 깜발을 두그래
two
깜발 두그래
chick that's
So 6 times, like all in the legs?
six two the kambalare we
깜발에 깜발 나발에
6 on the legs and on the arms?
one on each arm right laware chick
아 레레레 지지 라바 지니리 다르송 키 마라송스 지금 되게 포기할
so through her arms on both
Through her arms. Ooh. And what about her mother? Mother
Amala?
Amala?
아말라 충도 나온다 발자도 통성이 디 아메 분야 아마요려 다들 맞아 통성이 되는 다 얘게 분야 부대요라 벌숨다 pomo지요라 pomo지도 내 남았대요래 다대 묵스테 제도 다 먼저 먼저 보고 아시 파마 있는지 여러다 냠벌어도 된 상마다 벳 거란다 세사세 떨사 떨 찌면 차 양상에서 변에 찌면 쳐
아무라기 아마 뭐마디 예미톤들
말이 샤송이
샤서베 아니 아마 나신지 여러와
어리 아마지 우리 대 차로리다
네 공통으로
콩다 콩통송래
예미톤으로
다 예미통송래 되겠는데도다
네네
Translate.
맞아 so her biological mother
My mother.
yeah my biological mother had died early on but then there was this godmother, if you like, or what do you call, who acted as a mother, after the decease of the passing away. She was like a mother. So she was killed by the Chinese, as well as many other family members during that attack.
Was the family on horseback, or were they walking, and were they with other people?
저도 막 잡으러
그래
그래도 그니 따가라 요새 되니 미신바 냠도 요나 그래도
따가니요 더 따가니요 먼저 간가 따가니요 먼저 처음 따가니지 어디 야 마음이 누스 거서 내 추시 내 레시 누스 거스다 다 먼저 니향 망향 따기르향
저도 갈라
다시 샤비다 kusu diri jajir niri jajir 이게 jajir bata ko nanda jahi deli ni parum deta droshar bata
알레 따가셔들
따가셔들
they were in horseback yeah.
Horseback.
Yes.
And how did you know your father was killed?
I'm pallatong what the condition cancer.
빨라 먼저 냐모
So I was with my father when they shot.
빨라게 생이 되어서다
Father was also fighting back.
He was shooting her.
뭐야 지들
맨날 이래요.
어떤 게 아메리카 맨날 그거 잡힌 거야
The guns and these were provided by the United States.
야 US 인지 카듬 세리 맹코라나 네 먼저
They threw from
the sky.
야
to fight against the.
사실 뭐부터 살서 US
What do you think of that?
아무래도 가리고 도세 대 로와치 되가라.
다 근데 야버리세 세바장부 로와시가 시르바세 다 텐데스메 제야 요 말와세 디게 뒤조 테시 그러면 이게 제야 지어 말 고그는 또 힘무히 된 정하는 무슨 구수시스 인도 효리세 딜리 맨다게 트라이키스 다디 아메리카 로와 야버리세
So at that time that's what they could do because they are limited by how much they could do. So it was a great help. Yes, because had we had surrendered, we would be tortured severely and ultimately killed in a very cruel manner. And so. So it was a way for us to defend ourselves.
Yes.
And so we, as a nation, didn't have the resources or means, and so that was not
helpful.
Yes, so it was very much helpful.
Very helpful. Now, when you were shot, were you afraid you might die? Were you able to walk? Tell us what happened to you.
당보 살게 되나 바와 등치디 됐다 히 들어왔다 바와 강진동아 삼이 들어와 저리 잡잡이 히 온기도 지가 만도세 근데 맨다게 내리 다 탁세야 만도세 징징징징징징징징징징 잡은도 샤바 파나기 상기면도 지가스 테네 도스타드 따세송아 방법 따세송 따세자리 휴를 테네 메르 정치송아
First they killed the horse, and then slowly the people, so that it was a way to. Then, of course, anything that was seen, that was alive, was killed. And so, prior to my father being killed, there was, some fear that something might happen to him, because he was one with a gun and sort of protecting the family. But after he was killed, and then other family members were killed, and then everything just sort of felt like this was it, you see, that now the ground of existence almost was taken away, and so then there was no fear. So she lost pretty much.
Palmo, you told us how your father was killed, many people were shot at, and you yourself were shot at. What happened to you next after you were wounded so many times?
Of course, after being shot, she lost her conscience. There was tremendous amounts of blood, and after she regained her consciousness, then the first thought that occurred was, how everything is so true. What Buddha had said, that everything is impermanence and that life is nothing but full of changes. And so this was a great change that she was experiencing, and as a Tibetan, as Tibet as a nation was experiencing. So it was more of a kind of a consolidation, if you like, you see, consolidating the fact about the nature of life. Yes.
And then what happened next to her?
So after that, she, along with many other Tibetans, were taken to a camp where they were kept. You see, there were many who were wounded, and there were others, you see, along with her. And so in her case, because she was badly wounded, so they were trying to treat her, especially the gunshot wounds and others. And even though they were coming with supposedly good intention of helping and taking care of her, but in the heart of what she was saying, she was thinking, what's the use, when you have harmed and killed and now trying to treat it just didn't seem right, and so she felt, oh, this is not the place to be, and she had the idea of needing to flee. You see, so that thought was very strong, that I need to flee from here,
The camp,
regardless of the care and the treatment that was given.
was this camp run by whom?
Chinese government.
The Chinese government was running the camp, and it seemed odd that they would try to fix her and heal her after they had wounded her.
Yes,
And
and killed her.
and
siblings
killed her
family.
family. And so she had the idea, I think I should flee.
Yes, I should flee. It just didn't make sense. Logically, it didn't make sense. What's the point?
So what did you do?
Then I'm gonna count nine years on.
Then two is that come by at this time. Logic law the come you quite the goal as a thousands.
So you do
Churuk.
logic.
Should tell logic that come matter there.
So for about a year she was there in the camp. Yes, and then after that, I think she was sort of physically well enough, I think capable enough to make that first attempt to flee, to escape, with of course canes in her hands, you know, as a way to support her, and so she thought she could manage.
I see. Before we hear about that, can we please have some understanding about what were the conditions in the camp? Where was the camp? About how many people were there? And how were you treated in the camp?
The Nedano Canado should do it. Tajik Amla and the Yamigita, Judas Allah or Femda Allah or Major Chesala or Sajilata Amla Gurumbu Jurwa, and Tana Amla Kenji member in Pimikashi Mambudu Candido, Nedan Candido.
Yorita Pome Kaye Yoritin Narang Nangchik Pinjak Namachik, many yambos, many yambos, and child use. That is it, didn't console Pile Martin. Pile Martin. Then that is Juju Tamate.
Yes, Candido, she said.
Then Martin and telling on the map, the Pinjak Madon says she did those. Home and over and had the thing was on your bone. The Jamie on God was good days and she did Lord Chuduglo, like Tinita. Gamba was that thing was that's a chick. Ya twins, Punjab and the Kazit and the Kajik, the most dumb chin and the tourists.
Nedano Candido, Tajik.
Jamie
Dubutang.
Neither than Yurtaris, Bet Gentries, Namkin the Kindle Maris.
Dubutang do it.
Dupo Zenata. So gives you again, some go get down to us, melody from to us. Met as a child and some Jana Zomba chill to us. And then that you go on and you go met child and something go doom to Yatu she didn't that Gombat Zoma, Higdogin over that, then the bed gentries, the bed calling Jutes and Marista. And young rose, doing rose that. Casa orada metamji the sorata ungiriti tinde mambozu da chigidos kake salana chigen godos gude ju chomme ina kanhi seta ganga pogure bargi maras.
So it was a great change that she saw, she witnessed, because many people who were influential or held the position of power, they were looked upon as a threat, and as a result they were given a severe kind of not necessarily punishment, but treatment, to where they were taken to rather a restricted area where they would be punished, so they were transported or taken to another place, and then the others like her, who were young and were wounded, you see, they were kept, you see, almost with not so much of torture or anything, but it was looked upon, was like what you call were overseen, you see, their activity, so that there was nothing mischievous or nothing calculative was happening, so to speak.
They were monitored.
Monitored, that's the word.
Mhm.
Yes, carefully monitored.
Carefully.
Yes, and along with her, there were other cousins of her that had survived the initial attack, and so she met them in the camp as well, and as well as those who had great wealth or belongings. You see, they were all distributed or were taken, and of course the monastery and all the others were destroyed, and all of that was of course seen. And so everything was carefully guarded and looked upon and monitored. So
Was
there's
this
not much room to exercise any of the possibility that they could think or do.
was this camp like being just built at that time, or had it been there?
Tadi ke saja semsaji warwa. Ta konsumise ke saja logaji ji kala wara kangwa do ji na kudo ji kwanzu ta amana kinzo tomba na shin dawa na shin. Miso logaji zoyor sete ine ta jami ta dingi che. Konzo ta tugudu kari kari chigidu. Odendo ji kandro. So something along the line where it was not that they had particularly designed a building or premises. It was nothing that nature. Those individuals who they saw as a potential threat were taken to a restricted area, but in her case and others were just sort of monitored. Yes, so they were guards, and so they were kept in the tent and they were looked upon, right? So it was like an in-house
Internment.
right? Is that what it's called? The in-house
Under
arrest.
house arrest.
House arrest.
Like house
Something
arrest.
along that line, yes.
Were you allowed to practice any spiritual practices during that time?
And to do galatini jik nyaman nashin kita jik chö nyamlen chi ay de jik di chi chö kitini rawan do tutan do chi du jik kodu take the vase.
Kawa ta de munzo da chiga chim gyu yo marwas nebar was. Te henda do jik tinde de zo yo me hiti nganzo ge nange jik chala de semjen de ta des munzo de ma yabli ma ra ko zo di sang chi de koran so de la pa chu de jo zo ro te tamba ma te. Tene iba te mo kya jap na na te chi me ba so ta chik si so se ta jo ju ro ta. Kai sen da de ko zo ge bombo da chuko da lama da to nga da rik sum na tene ko zo ge ti niba o se do mo zo niba tong se chere do se. Chi di tene niba do se. Tang chi do se da de nga mangbo ki to ma ri ja sang wo re se. Tene kyang sin me chi je ka mo tene he gi re se. Ta ga ran re se te normal re. Tene ya tu ndu nge pinja 파적 맞을 분야지 니 찰레 동부 재미게 세면도 근데 토송스 다 먼저 숨지 뒤돌아 내가 해지 매 중민서 냠벌이야 주인 상향 교주도 당을 가와 됐어도
알레
대야 주는 되는 람가래 이제 도송스러워
심르
도송데 아멘다 예 도송리 센스
So the first attempt that she tried to flee, she had met some of her cousin. There was one, I think, a girl, and then later her amala kegi pasing matigi pinyachi, and then two of her siblings actually had survived. That she didn't knew that they actually were alive. That along the way. She had met them, and so they were all sort of planning now to flee, right? And they did flee, and in the process they were attacked again, and at that time they were didn't attack the kondogi didn't judo ya.
Di lamgalang magret dos. Teacher muso chico mare de members coming here members tundwa.
Not only her group, but then there were others also, you see, who had made that kind of plan to flee. So they were all it was like so almost they knew that there was this attempt, and so they were all attacked.
And what happened?
Then they do 가르쳐 줘.
근데 다 벌써스까 정말 대 공모고 체는 다 체는데 다 소와타기타기 영기에다 땅에 오래 있어. 다 그래서 류디다 지금은 도스다. 양생이 도고지금도 막 생이 지금도 상무 조선의 교사 말했을 때는 랭잡선은 막 요리세 동타 요리세 다 도움들이 레위 차는 거리세. 근데 나 뭐여빈세. 뭐여비 양은 움자리스로. 근데 뭐나 동선스.
사실 또 사도가라. 되게 가르치세요.
로 때리 드들이. 드두미 뭐가리.
아래 또 산에
또 산나 먼저 두르와. 단 주르는데 먼저 로직 디르와가. 로직이 야 두르야.
네.
조응두안 고모틴데
또르와.
또리. 다데 미모틴데 밥송세. 초승에 때를 캔서로 두세. 다데 메디다 분야다까지 뭔가 여러와. 그래서 딱 먼저 메 돈 trasal에 메다 들고 제말에서 됐을라인세.
니와 줘도가.
니와 조두가.
당고지 또
또. 니와 조두가 또.
아래 나서.
데디메 메로 데디로 주룩. 그래? 주룩 딱 좋아 데다로 미 당바자. 주룩시 되네. 되네 라브레스. 되네 라브딩에 되네 라인데 라브디다. tamje gase urese tin je do mata de dang tese de tsene tin mark yapsos yemenge jing me maru yukten ta mark yapsos tin sador namdore se sukau tsere jikase se jise mambosi mambo torta kanji me ta kre lagde yase na
뭐 간데 잡을라.
뭐네 무슨 다 들고 자면서 영사리 되게 두바트서 라브라바
저러.
근데 무슨 토르 걸라이네 뇽뇽스 다디
아니
똥나
그것도 줘세.
그러면서
아래.
다 간텐지 이용아 쫑 저기
알겠어.
내가 뭐 뭐도 택송세
So the first attempt was not successful, so they were taken back to the original place, and then they said, okay, now we must try again. And this time they did manage to flee, but not too far again. They were again ambushed, and many were killed again. But however, as a young girl, she would do this, what we call, there's a practice in Tibetan, it's called Mo. It's a divination, a form of divination. And there are many forms of divination where we use dice, some use beads, and so on. And so in her case, she would use the beads, the prayer beads, for a kind of divine kind of intervention, if you like, that gives guidance, which direction and what to do and so on. And so she said, oh, tonight it looks like we might have another attack, so let's not be here, and this is not a safe place to sort of, and so the group felt, oh, we had a long journey and we'll probably rest here, but it so happens that yes, they get attacked again. This was the second time. they attacked you, what? Tini? Then by the second attack, then everybody was dispersed. Then she couldn't see none of her cousin, relative. She was all by herself now by then. Tini?
Sanigo ngada zinjo jirate kamba nebari tun
alone. Then they held me and they took me back. Yeah, arrested me. Yes, of course, she was handicapped, so
she
it
was
was
captured.
easy. Yes, she was easily captured because she couldn't go any further because she had, what do you call cane?
Canes.
Yes. Yes.
Tishal mesumchusa zinjadu nga chon tinde nepando tinde gengo jobo tinde.
So when they rounded up or grouped them, then along with her there were 30 others Tibetan who were in a similar situation. They were wounded previously and so not able to run or escape.
That is zinjadu tinde musa te that dogorga sa ko zai kuzo ma tri sonti. 맞아 트리송된 당중조서 된 초야고서 르기보서 저거 야가르도 디제이다 트리송세 근데 트리송된 거도 지칸서로 지 잠바 말고서 때 저기 야가송세 자 로고 지금 지면서 단 로초 말세 자와인 고조서 면도 로초 말와야
So they took them to the mountain path down into the valley, close to a lake somewhere.
그래 저래
Yeah, close to a lake, and so they were, again kept in a one place with no freedom to move or run or do anything. You see, without their permission. So, of course, they were given some food. She remembers it was a tsampa, right?
잠바 예미 힝참데 힝게 잠바 문에 말다
Not a real, authentic Tibetan tsampa. It was a Chinese tsampa. So.
Not so hot.
Teni?
뜻뜻이 되는가 삼기도 당아 돈으로 삼도 생가 게 빈자게 단다 게메도 그랬어 남아서 뒤뭐 강바자게 그랬어 뭔도를 만들었어 산도는 생가 돈도 있나이다 자기를 쭉 도전 잘했으나 조진다가 자네 내기면서 염이 없춘 내기면 강선다 땅아 베트 코란 능바가 당와 레데도 담마고 레데다 마루 하고도 왔어 근데 먼저 지간 제가 매주반 제가 매 따때 간신는데 차로 효를 삼든 따짠다 내기면서 나 부르기 나인다 아니 게모지 요래서 나도 들러 주두지 주두그랬어 나로 주두그랬어 게모데 로 힙슈 나래서다
게모디든 아무나 빈자기
데 말이 빈자가 안내리
알레
빈자가 안내리 다디 게모디 교화대한 예미 종송도스 데 종송디 뭐 님제 크레리스 보면도 뭐 조진도도 되니 종이스 당연히 이제 종도 공다 센스 칼레 종이 마가르 예미 막만우시 the human care or a young rudido. Then that Malam Japta can't see or some chit collect person task.
So then on the third attempt, it was very persistent in an effort to flee. Of course, she says the reason being they're completely against the Dharma, you see, towards the path of freedom and towards the path of enlightenment. And so she had many, of course, reasons, and therefore this time she went with just one lady. There was another lady.
Go ahead. I'm
Yes.
just gonna fix the mic real quick.
And that she was a distant relative, meaning that her cousin's wife. Amlagi Pinjagi came. Okay. Actually, she was her brother's wife. Yes. And so she was wounded as well. So both of them were wounded. And so they said, we can't stay here any longer, and that we must, continue. I mean, meaning that never give up and keep trying. So that we are not under this kind of dictatorship or rulership or whatever, you see, this cruelty. And so one night, in the middle of the night, they both had the courage to slowly kind of get up and make that courageous attempt. And so this time they could see Chinese military or the police carrying the lights, what do you call, lantern?
Yeah.
On the distant path, you see, sort of monitoring, at night. You could imagine that scene, if you like. And so then they could see not too far. I don't know. Not too far. They could see.
magic
They could see they were circulating, guarding, night watch, if you like. And so both of them sort of reciting mantras and doing prayers and for their safety and for their protection. So they slowly sort of of course they were already wounded to begin with, but slowly, very mindfully, carefully, they made that escape. Tini?
Tene 조선 생생가 손도 리즈 낸 탭잡에 티렌팅 거 가데인스 니면인가.
Then all night they walked, all night. They didn't know where they were going, but they just walked and walked, walked. And the next morning when they woke up, they had actually crossed the mountain. Then they had come to the other side. Tini? Really gabled it.
리잡데 닌가 데다인스.
So,
니모단 통로 지르와테 혀고증이 가데인스.
and then they hide.
아니 뜻이 강 잡데오레 세레테서 호텔 강 뒤에서 강사 쉽잖은
But
위험한.
of course, there was no water, there were no other supplies. So they ate the snow, you see, as a way to keep them hydrated and so on.
Was there snow on the mountain?
Yes, the count has a company.
강도
Yes, yes.
How deep?
Things have looked.
땡 사보 만도세. 근데 땡 사보 말해세. 이나 강도
Things have looked not too deep. 가도 생사래. 강바디.
가선 그러면
아네.
내가 선로이라 내가 선로.
Maybe a foot.
Okay.
좀 근데 충충도 로고도 대야동 테네 담만도세 야면지가면 테네 도움레스.
Then by the next morning, they could visibly see that they are actually away from the fear, the danger of the Chinese. They couldn't see any Chinese or any sort of sign of, military. And so they felt, okay, now we are out of danger. And then they continued walking. Teni?
내는 지금 도움이 도움 땅이는 지가 말해서 사야 통하도록.
That's all.
Yeah,
So,
but
of course, both of us didn't have any food or any supplies.
nothing. 테네 메디 다디리 야로 테네 네 모자 휴세 딱 한로네 약사다.
So, of course, we didn't have GPS then. So, this is my own dry humor.
되게 다서 소이서 나세가 제힐면서 푸게데 레마니.
This mala, this bead, that would help direct which way to go, which direction to choose as far as safety and also a place which would be leading towards India, right?
다듬시 도시서 손직손 다니마 지금이 체인지가 되는 거는 체는 부르데 뭐 약고 히워 밥송스.
That's all.
다니니 직선인데 추즈가 사로도세. 캬바한테 추대에서 캬바 야디 디가를 지디 로자는 뭐 나콩을 해야세. 디가도 좁혀. 저 추나마. 추니가 야루도. 아, 누구야 통화석에 선데 캬르캬 샤바 미러 캬바 누시 차들이 공가. 아, 디가도 좁혀. 저 사부도. 다른 인도도 뭐도. 나 뭐야 뭐 히어.
건달에 쇼게.
세나래. 다음이 민주 체계는 로데와.
네.
민주 로사 우리 뭐 밥들 로데 사건 뭐 기본적인 독성. 다 디고 뭐 말할 텐데 추나 꺄냐 쩨데도.
네. 건달 긴yap표대로.
뭐나 꺄냐 쩨니 뭐 갑도 거래. 그래서 리미르로 이러.
So during the day, they would always hide. They would not try to, be seen. You say, and so they would always flee during the night time. So they would always, do that. And so on one of the occasion when they were, trying to continue, then something strange had occurred, which was they were not able to walk as speedily as normal pace. And the reason was that they were in a icy lake, if you like. So yes, they sunk.
They walked into a lake.
They walked into a lake, icy lake. So
근데 전체는 파치로건 다 뭐네요. 호시오스 밥송 땅인데 내던 거지. 땅이 소르들을 디가 롱가 총을지 대탐지 내시도 거르세. 나는 게 지금 뭐 간신의 효시 저도래세. 되는 게 첼로디 소르들을다 근데 엄청매서 텍스 잡송세. 다 디간데 니에데 선생은 다들 말이디.
추가란 얘들이.
추카들. 다다리디 추어서 티데가랑 다 요거 좀 말다.
네.
사감보 탭자 동.
네.
근데 사감보가 니에데.
So they were, both of them. I think she said I was a little stronger, a little more, heavier built in comparison to her partner, the cousin wife. So he helped her sort of, ferry across to the shore of that lake, and so they spent a night there at the bank of the lake.
But it must have been very ice cold.
Yes, bad time.
되는 건가 키는데 무슨 켜버려.
It's so cold that the
참
water froze.
켜버렸어.
The ice had become, the water had become icy.
지금 불잘 데려와. 정말 휴루. 불에서 코론도 이게 잘 되지. 걔는
So
켜버려.
they sort of, stayed together, sort of held together, and as a result of that, the heat had sort of melted that ice. Yeah. So it was very icy indeed.
당연히 남랑 샘체한테 카트가도
Then as the morning dawned, and then she could hear the sound of the animals, right? The sheep and yaks and others.
아직 이제 바스도 시한스텔 또 선스도
Then they, kind of carefully looked around, and they noticed that there was a family.
다니 간신은 미편이 동자리 되는 딱 거서 또 야인세 또딱
So she said, "Oh, we saw them, and they saw us. Okay, so then why not approach them?" So that was the thought.
야소민이 가세 돈이 라빈 보면서
They
또 저선세
reported, "Oh, this is, what has happened to us, and now we're in an attempt to flee." And so she, shared her experiences, their experiences. Didn't
다 보면서 저선 뒤 보면들 나 너니 야면 누군 째조메스 고소 두시 ner서 터트는 세선 땅 아니 돈이 제야니 제야비 뭐 얘기도 두제네 나 tellamsa 아지 세포마데 베트 믹스다운 타키 야르호세 네는 큰 거서리세 다데 잡아오러 봐
they?
tellamsa 야트스는 아바다 조조투소 디미 야미기 델레티비디세 촌들레티비디세 구성 거부디데라 야미기 또 조레리 또 가서
So then there was only a young girl in the family. The parents and her sibling had apparently left for some meeting or something that they had to, attend. And so the young girl said, "Oh, you look very, desperate, especially your physical condition, and as well as all the freezing water that is, so you might freeze to death." And so she was very compassionate. So they took her in and, kept warmed and gave her, and
남자들 저기 하고 치송세
so it gave so much love and so much.
다디 강 면세게 되는 쌈바 딱 생생가 생생가 잡았다 당연히 사야 요머다
네.
되는 한고 네 도와야 그랬다 지금 로그로 왔다
네.
참마 로시 참마 소로시 요즈 뭐 깔레즈 뭐 들려오다
So
생각
all night this young girl prepared all the meal along the way, you see, and gave clothing.
근데 뭐는 숭에 다른 몰람 자다 그것에 뭘
And she says, "Till this day, I pray every day, as a way to repay her kindness
다디
for her well-being."
대소치 되는 거니 노시고 탑 노시 대 노시 요 말이 찍찍아 말다 추동게 잠바 동바 마 무그마기서 살로대로 다 되는 노시 고르송 프로 고르송 찍다 사사 통사 고르송 도고 잘라 nhập 고르사 고르송
So yes, so she provided them not only food along the way, but
네 매제 룩 예구스 룩 주인사 저 도기사
and along with that 10 sheep, so they could carry all the utensils. I don't know, what do you call them? The cups, the plates, the cooking. Cutlery, yes, all of that. And
되는 새남 미트 치기 되서 때좀 고르송 뒤리다 모지라고 시중세 달라 펜데 통으로 버렸어 펜딜라 딜라드 통송나 되네 팔송 된 동바 동장에 짠 매요 말했어 대균이 사기다 당사로 해서 짠바드 마르드 추라데 효고송 룩줄 도기 많이
so she
그러고 말
gave enough, abundance. I mean, you could imagine, something the size of 10 sheep could carry.
나뭐 밥주 드리도스 네 뒤뒤 추디 데 투사 말이 인생 모르라
so later she came to understand that the reason why the divination directed toward that direction, even though they plunge into a lake, but would ultimately lead towards the sheep and all that. Yes. So that's what she could make out.
내가 지금 라마고조 대박이 결제 아지 까리나 당아 문에 가르치나 맞이나 루바 큐는 문도가 상대가 로데송스.
So she said, "Oh, I'm not alone. You see, there is Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, along the way, along this journey, that's directing me, and her company." And so there was a reassurance of that, confidence, if you like, that it would be safe.
It would be safe. I wanted to say that you came from a family that was very well off, and I wondered if the kind of hardship that you were experiencing was most unusual, because you were not working and minding yak and sheep in your when you were a little girl. So this was quite a contrast, was it not, Palmo?
Tadi tang mama ta jemi macho gita chik matungala tini amla council nangmi di tini chik bombo gi pansang gi nangmi dugal ta chale na ya dugal ya na ya marwas andi me dugal ta khobt kala jurwa shimbu dugal tini
제가 상은 뭐도세. 가에서는 가 가시는 무상무잖아. 나 야갈래 보지지 탈고 상이 도세. 나 탈고 파마는 저도 추치고래. 파마 동성도 추치고로 와. 추치 고가 매와 될라. 내 추치 애니 땅아 추고 깔래자 추 땅아 전두시다. 직 탈고 samde 깔래다 척도다 튼들 지에 처리면 도스 땅아 보고 삼베티게.
There was only one thing that was sort of pondering in her mind was my parents have died, and along with that many Tibetans have died, and I'm alive, and for their sake, you see, I want to reach to India, under the compassionate leadership of His Honour Dalai Lama, and practice Dharma as a way to repay the kindness, and to pray for their journey towards the next life. So that was what keep sort of occurring in her mind, and so that set
mindset.
Yes.
The hardships were not so difficult.
So yes, she could oversee.
She could overcome them.
Yes, overcome them. So that didn't even occur,
Okay.
and so that led her.
삼노직 땅살이세. 땅살도 다가르. 된 rum도 par치 동해서 인생아.
She says, I am by nature, when I decide on a thought, especially the first thought, which is often the best thought, then I don't have a second or a third, opinion.
Single-minded.
Yes, very much concentrated, very much focused, and assertive.
So what happens next?
이제 해야송데다 로즈 고르티스 카르제트 파르.
So it took about a year until she made it to Mount Kailash.
So all this was happening near Mount Kailash? The mountain that she was climbing was on the way to Mount Kailash?
On the way to Mount Kailash. She wouldn't know that she was going towards Mount Kailash.
She didn't know that.
She didn't know that. But somehow her journey, through the divination that she was, really led her.
So she got to Mount Kailash?
Then it logic jala.
데 몽가라길. 제디 몽가라길 레드든 디 아지데다 나짠 로도자 말이다 강르트 장르체. 에는다 초치도자 말이지 모노 찍지 단 롱로긴조 치데우스. 강르 랩서드. 응에다 저랑 가르치는 시대인데다 그런 빈야한테 내 친구 가게에서 돕는데 막 로송스. 로드나다 뭐랑 사실 힘마직 로송스. 나 가를 도투자 말랍도스. 다 나랑 찍고 인세. 근데 로 집든 로 인세가. 집든 로 때는 다 내기다서 이히야만도 다네 도와다 스파리오. 데래. 디뭐 내기 분야까지리. 다뭐 다무저 도대기죠. 뭐 도대도 봐. 저는 문이 다 강을래. 다 데래. 데디다
빈자
메참
수도들이야.
이히 아무도 메다스 라달이 뜨도아 계산 빠르선 데도
알레.
라달이도 뭐
알레. 모수리.
뭐게 빈자야
빈자 한데.
빈자다 아마
알레.
니
뭐 빈자 투사 데이터 마운 캐라스도 그래.
뭐게라 히토레
알레. 알았어.
뭐게라 히토디 뭐다 뭐니 된다 가르를 땅이 대신 가르를 내니스
로직 걸어.
아 로직 라고 보통
알레. 알았어.
근데 아마 대양 뭐는 빈자한테 토스겠다 가르를 가 도투자 말이세 땅아 추시선 될 메제 공잡 누가 잡 대인 제려와
뭐래.
엔다 아마 되게 노스 아마다디 빈자한테 잘 로스 가르를 도투자 말이세 땅 가르를 티 나랑 빈자다 대신 로게까지 로게티 뭐 가르를 디 니니 장사 땅이스 가르 다 가르 장사 땅데 다 가르 장사 땅데 혀고 줍든 고통스 장자당도 강세 보선도 야 로마랑 거서 라데스 정말게 된 뱉은 다른에 망보선 차리킨 그래 되면서 너희 텐데션세 그뭐 무이도세 땅은 있는 장로 다 장은 텐데 장로 뭐 무이도 냥제
So when they finally reached Mount Kailash, of course they didn't know that they were going in that direction. But when they finally did, she felt very much at home because this is a very holy and sacred mountain. There are many devout believe that one would accumulate great degree or amount of merit if one were to do any spiritual practice. In this case, one that was largely carrying out was the practice of circumambulation. You would go around the mountain, the holy mountain, which is revered not only by Buddhists but also by Hindu and Jain and many other religion. So when they reached there, she said, "Now I'm going to stay here and dedicate my life, until enlightenment." That was a kind of a pledge she had made to herself, and of course she shared that idea with her friend or the cousin's wife, and she said, "Oh, this is wonderful, and I rejoice in your effort and your dedication, but I don't think I will have that attitude or that courage or that kind of determination. So please you continue, and I will excuse myself and leave for India." And so she left. So Amala vowed to stay back and remain in Mount Kailash, especially because I think it may be same, but in Tibetan culture, when your deceased parents and others pass away, that you do special practices, for 49 days, and many other rituals are carried out, and so that she didn't get to do, and many others Tibet didn't get to do. So for their sake and others' sake, she thought this is the place to sort of complete, this unfinished business, if you like. And so she resolved to stay back, and so she did. And then along the way, she met another cousin of hers, which to this day is still alive, is now in India. Pinjarwa? Yes.
몽글라 히토레 내니 장사지 냐모세이스
And the idea of this circumambulation is not an easy task. It's a very daunting challenge because there's an uneven terrain and altitude thickness as well as harsh conditions that makes it very difficult. Just the hour it takes for normal, healthy, physical, sort of capable individual do the circumambulation. It takes 15 hours, to do. It's about 52 or so kilometers, and the idea is to do it in one day. So if you do it in one day, the merit is even more. So it's the belief, and so Amala did the circumambulation, not by walking, but by full length prostration, right?
차zen
아니 가서 뭐?
왜 만지 혀고 좀 무슨 남년제 다 니마 줍드리 센 체크 제효 다 지도 가서 서는 거.
So it took her 17 days to complete one full, full length prostration around the Mount Kailash.
Describe what that is for people who may not know that kind of prostration.
Tadi kandedo rese.
다 다승에 또 강을 뭐지 그 구바트 다서 나가고 몽깔라 이게 구바트. 되게 내내 치고 그래서 렌 손에 바로 저.
Okay. So basically, it's a full length, yeah? The entire length of one's body is stretching. So basically, the pilgrim or the practitioner bend down and kneels and prostrates full length, makes a mark with his finger, you see, wherever that may be, and rises to his knee, yeah? If you do the half length, right? But if you do the full length, then you get up, yeah? And you pray, or whatever it is. Here in this case, of course, for the benefit of all sentient beings. And then
you...
I hear some. Okay. And then you crawl forward on hands and knees to the mark made by the fingers again, before repeating the whole process. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So, and then you repeat this, you see, until you complete the one. And then, of course, like I said, it's uneven terrain, and ice, and a very, very harsh climate. Yeah?
How long did it take?
Nima chubding gorwa.
니마 줍드.
It took her 17 days to complete.
센시치 딱딱 센로 효다 니마 닝강 센로 효.
Whole day, as well as night, konda sen kaduchi.
센다 주도 주바 죽ță 중인 도동 제효. 오나 죽ță.
And they would prostrate up until midnight. Yeah, any?
다디 코르도 사이라서 코르도 사파나기 온초롬 창제 양대 두신 로그레스.
Of course, they would have their, belongings, the foods and food supplies for the day, for the night. So what they would do is, they would sort of walk, 2 or 3 prostration length, and then leave the belongings, then come back, and then continue where they had started, right? Where they had finished, where they had left, right? And then carry on, and then do the whole thing, all over. So, any?
tuksin ten bang lama zeng ma ji patul zanan ten nga damga khise lama ji songs ten nga samge du se ta di tes ji gang sa kur ni ma ta pige ge mo zo yami ge du bo do zo ten de thonda chi me sa la ta tu si tu ten de sin ro ta nga ten re ge sem ba pa mo zo chung song sam sem te pham di yana chu chi ta chu chi ge de se 시기대들은 네 간세 조선배마 좀이 생겨지 조선배마를 생겨지도 직전에 망본지 손스.
So of course, physically, verbally, she was reciting mantras, and physically she was doing this arduous kind of, purification and practices. But mentally, she would have these thoughts of, takhalawara gyami duk tangres. With no rhyme or reason, you see, that we were attacked, we were, brought about so much suffering. So there was a lot of agony and frustration towards the Chinese.
Yes.
You see.
tene drada nyen kebar me bata danye keme chama ingje de tozo gangne ta ti yu yago tune te kyo tselje nga ta tse de lu druba nyam ne hi pardo chushigi se rumba huis.
So as these thoughts would challenge, but in the process it was shaping her attitude towards the right path, because that led her to the meeting of this great master. And who later would challenge her to say that this is all wonderful, this is all great, what you're doing, but if you don't have the correct attitude, then it's not in the spirit of Dharma, and therefore, you need to change, or you need to correct this mindset or this thinking, that you do this with an idea that that there's no difference between those that are close to you and those that you have aversion towards. You see, you should be able to see them as equally important, because everybody is desiring happiness, everybody wants to free themselves from suffering. So in that account, we are all same. And so in the case of the Chinese, that they have harmed us, but consequently they will suffer as a result of their act. And so they are deserving of compassion, right? And so if you continue to have this ill will or this negative thoughts, then this will be of no help. And then having heard this very important insight from this master, she said, "Oh, I confess, having such negative thought or idea, and that now from today onwards, I am committed to follow your guidance and instruction, and will continue until the state of Buddhahood." Such was her resolution, pledge to her teacher, to always see the Chinese or the perpetrator who have harmed as none other than oneself. You see. So that was a kind of an exercise that the master instructed. To have equal amount of compassion, not only to those who had suffered, but who have inflicted the pain or suffering upon us.
Tene kisumzunse. Ta kiram meze ta nge meze koran chuchigin serwa. Korba singin de chigoro ta tene. Koran ta puba na nga dodu atichi huse dubuk nang di zamba de chutum nyeza tene inse kanre dedu ta. Ta nga tura chese dedu meze tura chigi inse. Ta rumbo je nga chuchin ta. Di tomnaza hizonse son tuzo tamche pendo godus.
So she said, thank you, my precious teacher, that now, from today onwards, I will live here and I will die in this cave, you see, until Buddhahood, for the sake of all those who have passed away, and then all that will die, you see, so that I could be of benefit. So under your guidance, under the sort of, traditionally we have a way of addressing under your lotus feet, basically under your guidance and care, that I will pursue this path. You see? Teni?
Tene jedu jigi jedu der mashte sumsumta. Shedu yamele tene kyokhan tahyos tasho. Tasho
korre. So that began the real sort of, I guess, the spark, you see, of the transformation, if you like, the change. You see, like she entered the door of Dharma, you see, because now he was questioning, what needs to take place in order to, enjoy the fruit of enlightenment. And so these attitude needs to be looked at and observed, and therefore transformed. And one attitude that he asked repeatedly was, how do you view Chinese? You see, those that harmed you. What is your observation? What is your outlook? You see, towards them. That was the question that he posed on her.
Where did this teacher come from? And
The
who
Lama
was
de
it?
Kamneres,
Kamneres. So he was Chusdana. So this Lama was from the Kham region.
And where did you meet him?
Amala met him at Mount Kailash.
Actually there?
Yes.
Was he circumambulating or living there?
Yes. Yes, the Lama himself was also fleeing from the, attack from the Chinese, and so he was on his way to India. Along the way, he stopped by Mount Kailash, and so that's where Amala, you know, Kalauta.
제송세
Yes.
되네 컴퓨터에 땅에 다 예면데 네 다통 달라니 당원에다 다라 삼기도 다리 삼대도 라니 다초 산지 고마체 내니데 톱톱바 루바 잡서도 예면데 삼대네 저런디 짠이메요 말스 나바 산지 초도 싸만인 거 말스데
So, you know, this was a question that he kept posing on her as a way to train her attitude, which was, you know, how do you view Chinese? And that and then she said, oh, I see them as a great threat and as an enemy. And then the master replied, if you view the Chinese in that light, then the enlightenment is far from it. And not only that, you will suffer along the way. And so it's almost like you're reliving that agony and pain that you've experienced. So that needs to be changed. Tani?
등산 저런게 내당게 답변시 가져 효리스
So particularly these last few days or weeks that you've been here, you're doing a great degree of work or exercise that is helping you in purifying your negative karma, if you like, not only for yourself but others. Tani?
자마데 인제도 고레스
But more important than that is it needs to be instigated by the spirit of compassion and loving kindness.
다디 라데 저런 이치나 다스데 라데 라 멤베 년 다랑게 다니 녀와 은ja 파마 쳇버지 하면 샘게 쯔완동서 낭침보서 다 지트면서 다 뇽투히다나 쳇버지 하면 다테 장쇼스 죽대 장쇼스 저 드니 상진도나
So he says, if you're really hungry, if you have a great degree of thirst for this enlightenment that you're seeking, then I want you to exercise in training this, exchanging this attitude, you see, of seeing the Chinese as none other than your loving parents, you see, or none other than your, you know, compassionate teacher, you see. So keep exercising in transforming this perception,
Yes.
you know, to view them in this light rather than as an enemy.
다때 메시 장고 투송스네
So of course this was a great undertaking.
당원에 다또 사제 통자라 티장 직장 탭차 적다디 네 라메 그 두지데 네다네 고르 참세리다 아지 공자 효레 나랑 칸칸 지기를 받아
네.
이난 고랑 디삼노랑라 곰디 하람 디면 로니 사즈다 자와닌 치투문도 스타롱 데스 차도도 데스 차도도 안테용도 데스 차도도
So this
간을
was
데스
the
데른다
most
초치기
difficult,
되어 보거라
but at the same time most rewarding experience, because it was so difficult, you know, just having experienced the loss of the most important, you see, people in your life, your parents and your country, and of course oneself being shot. And now this teacher tells you to view the very thing we have done such a, you know, barbaric kind of act, to see them in the light of your own parent. You see, it was very difficult, very difficult. But she had no doubt in her teacher's, you know, caring words or insight, and that she, day and night, she said for 2 years, she said she trained. She did this training, mentally exercising, thinking again and again. You see, it took her 2 years, because just, you know, at times and days, weeks, she would feel, yes, I could view them, I could see them, but then immediately a thought of, the pain would come, you see, would flash back. You see, there was that reoccurrence of the events would come, and so then they would falter, you see, that perception that she had. And so she said when she was eating, when she was doing the circumambulation, when she was sitting, so this was the main sort of, the object of meditation was compassion, compassion, compassion. It was training in compassion, you see. Dini? Of course, there were many other practices along with that. This thing called, which I was sharing with you earlier, the preliminary practice where you do 100,000 of each exercises, right? Where you do physical prostration, you have the recitation of the mantra, or 16 million times, and so on. There are many other exercises, but the central theme of that was, develop compassion. You see. So all in all, she did 3 prostration, full length prostration. So 17 days times 3 years. Yes, and so of course, there were the bruises, there were the bumps. You could imagine, the rocks, the ice, all of that. Yeah. Yes.
Was she alone doing that, or with other
Yes,
people?
alone.
Alone. It seems like your ability to receive the teachings of this master was helped by your childhood, where you felt an attraction to the Dharma and had parents that supported it, that made you open to accept this very demanding teaching of this teacher from Kham.
Right. Chudita di morangi tana tashu tedu galatini amla gita lama di damla sondu galatini dila ije diga teba thana yoga junsen do jinde shibjo chiundu gala chunjunyu gona phama gitini ta chamba ninji kecholo da choli ije da chi yorwa mangji do ditini yabu yogi ta junsen di insare samgudu se. Yes, definitely I agree with you, because parents does have a very important role, especially at early age, in the shaping of the child.
Yes.
And so she was very fortunate to receive that.
And the name of this teacher and what happened to him, do you have any idea?
Lama think lama jela tini kon kha person. So when she was around 16 years of age, he was in his sort of early 60s. And so I don't know whereabouts of him, but last I heard, when she was in Tibet receiving teaching from him, that he was fleeing for India. So,
his name?
Dzogchen, Pema. There's two teachers, yeah. Dzogchen Pema Rinchen and Pema Chopel.
The Loni son tetel da ju dang se ju dan kan ra sam so se ju ge pen ji re se ju de nyar ji te de ju se da dang ji
Then
za wa ju se
after that, then she did another 2 years, right? 2 years of this particular practice called Chut, which is designed to uproot the tendency to grasp at the false self, the erroneous self, the self that doesn't exist intrinsically, right? Which is eradicated by the wisdom insight that dawns from understanding the nature of the mind and nature of reality, which is empty of inherent existence. And so this particular practice is a very powerful method or means to do that, and it employs using many instruments like human thigh bones as a trumpet, and skulls and few others as a way to see the emptiness of the I, right? Because you
symbol.
say, where is I? Is it in the bone? Is it in the body? Where is I? You can't locate them, right? And then when you finally come to understanding that actually I doesn't exist,
Yes.
simply as a misperception. You see, so you're grasping at something that doesn't exist, right? And so this practice is designed to do that. And so you actually go to places that confronts you, that kind of fearful situations, so that you really look for the I, right? Because you want to protect yourself, you want to secure yourself from the danger. And so then this practice takes you to places like cemetery, right? And not like here, yeah, in the West, very beautiful, clean, flowery, you see, better than the house of Indians, and the refugees, right? So in her case, the Tibetan cemeteries, you have the bones, you have the leftovers, some of them, you have the hairs, and so this practice involves visiting these cemeteries, right? Especially at night times, just to make sure. Then so she did that for 2 years.
It also in Mount
Visited
Kailash?
Mount Kailash, yes.
몽kel라게라 데리
Mount Kailash.
로 몽고 데리 몽kel라
Yes.
추 짠짠데
All around.
부가 나면 니자요 말이
Yes.
바콩 나니데
Yes. So.
다스티 파르테가 나노 즈테네 티 바콩 와사
Can
땡게
you take a break?
Oh no, she's asking.
We need a break, bro.
Yeah, she was wondering about needing to show you the image of these caves where she had done the meditation. But of course, we need to do some digging.
Oh, okay.
But
Could we look later? Tell her we'd be happy to
Jela
look later.
tagging, say.
Okay. Pamela, after spending 7 years on Mount Kailash in the caves, can you help us understand what kind of understandings did you achieve from that experience?
Talo dun amla ta thamlo che chik dig jai na re chini choko kore na re tama narwa.
그래봐
Dinani ta to ta chik nyamnyung do ji khari sa so dinani ta
땅에
nyam to ba do wala.
추가 양다고 가서 집에 있나 당원에 직 산지고 공항 톱세야 돼 샘제는 팬도 옹세야 돼유 탁쇼래도
She said, one thing I learned from these years of sitting and practicing is that if you work with your mind, then it can be transformed. Meaning if you train your mind, that it can be transformed.
Can be transformed.
Yes.
And how would you advise people to train their minds who live everyday lives?
다 아무나 롭자도 밀다 롭자도 가리요 송구도다 미 드링카선 담불 되나다 지금 저녁에 지금 제기면에다 정말다 로규레 정말다 지금 계신부지 통고로 와 로마주나 샘데 유로마다나 되니까 되게 더베이네레 되니 미세키고 유네 지깔 하고 인도 갈라티니 다 롭서도지 가리요 송구도
당아 ngarange ta nyamnyung gang ge has ke news ten zamlung po lega zamlung pen to hi wana mena choron so ta gire wa sa suge ngarang nyamnyung gang le indu nganzo su ruwa samsi su ina dungar tsawa ni nan doi mu du su de tena
So whoever we are, you see, we all have the same wish, same desire. That is, nobody wants to suffer. Teni?
Teso madu du su job ge da ta nge tes hakosons dungar te su ge gang le chunga do dewa de kanchen kare ma do ta nga tes nyamnyung chungsons
Dunga khani
nyung do dunga de kari chungdu dewa de kari chungdu te chung kari chung ma jung de ngara nge ge chu sin ta nge darkha chi oris
So as a result of her own personal experience as well as experiment, you see, analysis that she has come to understand that, of course, nobody wants to suffer, but then why is it that we still suffer? You see, so what's the cause? You see, behind this experience? You see, not wanting to suffer, yet still continue to suffer. You see, so that she has come to understand. You see, the cause of suffering.
The cause of suffering
Yes, and the cause of happiness.
and the cause of
Right. Tini?
tene indu ta karisi gorasana mitsangala dewan dogo te kanisan ta ngazo chu ting sabo ge nyamlen ting sabo te musiki ma ke maris
So there is no reason for me to go into the great detail of
go to maris
um, you know, theorizing. You see, what is this? What isn't this? You see, on a philosophical note, and also one may not have the time and means to spend that many years. So what I will try to share with you is the heart, the essence.
tene indu ta nga nge kar pen to she do sana ta pist ke chekyo pist redus hidet chik chidene ngale kangi kasi yome de kola tengres yoris hidet chidant ngarang chidant ailas ngale kangi kande kangi ona nagyu tsagyu ta nga yagne gagyu nga dugne dugyu te ngarang kandre yubate palo thela yoris te yapo ha kone tene mele noba geya te chik kansa ur kona cheya de chik gorwa ta ramle cheya de mebe taglu gris aka ngara nire zudu nga gabo mundu was kola gabo ungi mar was ta de majis ta nige tene majis
그래서 동해도 싸워도 지다.
rang semne yo ta dungen tsawa te rang semne ungi ores rang semne ungi ore dungen tsawa te ti dungen tsawa te rang yu nanghi te metsang ma le yores ti yu go e jumsen te kansen
당신.
dakji ti nga sen dak pet tak nga chidi lamsang nga dakda chotu mares te kapores yina yang ta ranyam tsuk zotu yirse semgi nangdo mele deji yung tabde hienpen cheya de gikab yina gikab yargen roya de gikab pendok cheya de tene tega nanghin ge gikab penchun la tsik tulam cheya de gikab tsik debo yon tikti de debo yori ya de o di
So the principal characteristic of Buddha's teaching, or if you like, the essence of Buddha's teaching, is that everything is interdependent. And so, if you want to be happy, you know, it's important that one you're with is also, it's important that he or she is happy, right? If you don't want to suffer, you need to make sure that the other person is free of harm and free of suffering. And because the suffering comes, the problem comes from what's going to happen to me. You see, too much, you know, focus on what about me. And so that grasping, that self-grasping or self-cherishing is the source or the magnetizer, if you like. It's a magnet that attracts all the evil and all the difficulty, all the suffering. So if you want to be happy, she says, you really need to think about the well-being and happiness of other. Take care of other, especially the one before you. You see,
right in front of you.
Whoever that may be. You see, and so that, you know, attention, if you're able to give to that person, attention here in the case of care. You see, that love to that person. Then it immediately creates a space where you are free of your own problem and your own difficulty and your own suffering. So it's in the process of taking care of other that you take care of yourself. And so in her experience, you know, as a student of meditation, that she realized that that compassion and loving kindness was the key, you see, that really brought about this change or this transformation. So what she has to offer here is this altruistic, you see, thought, you see, this compassionate attitude to be studied, to be understood, and to be implemented. You see. And then, in return, it takes care of you. So, Ningbudo dita Jangchup sem na Ningje ngo do di yin song ko.
ngo do tere de orese. Te chebe yena tambo susu ge lusem ki yores.
So, if you exercise that, of course, not only on emotional level, but also on physiological level, you feel a great degree of rest and peace. You see.
Tene nam tiki pores.
And then, of course, you know, it's very contagious, if you like. On a positive note, your loved ones get affected by it. You see, immediately they are affected by it.
Tene kimse iyon kibo yores.
And then your neighbors, slowly.
Ta tene gigab nang le ya, tene gigab le hyagen chi ya, gigab le be sem zambo chin, gigab le ya hyagen chi bi na, susu gigab te kibo ya bo chung na, rang hi kibo ya bo ngores.
And then of course the world at large.
Yeah. Tene gigab chi ye yong la, tulam chi gores, gig sam ga du ngaru sam chu his. Gigab chi tuk de yo ge gigab ni de, tulam chi zge la chamba de zwa chi de na. 얘가 니한테 기뻐 효차로 그랬어. 얘가 니한테 끼는 티 나눠 없는 티 참아 된다. 내가 모르겠어.
And then consequently, of course, if the nation itself is happier, enjoy prosperity, then so as well as the neighboring country, and then it multiplies, and then whole world at large. So therefore, free of all the paranoia, of all the fear, you see, all of that unnecessary, suffering that we create as a result of this lack of compassion that has resulted in many of the suffering that we experience. So it really boils down to, beginning here, now, with oneself and with loved ones, someone near and close to you, and then slowly taking that. Yes.
Sem piece music piece dos. Kaisan Messelina Yawon Hills, some Selina goes to Yapochi met Thomas Sem to Ghana. Thomas Child did it or is church in a row, but in the race, then thank you the chamba the Jesus had the Chubitanda the Lamsan Chitu Maritina. Peace, said it.
So she says, of course, this is a wonderful idea, but the reality is one has to sort of begin, start implementing, into one's own being. And then once you experience it, and then you say, yes, it is true, and then you will voluntarily involve in actually actualizing this very act, and then you will do it. So then teacher or someone outside of you don't need to tell you, because you know in your being that it is a benefit. And then Denny?
Pento onyage nga cha tik anya chi hu se ting sang ta chu nyam ne che ya de ta yin de yin se ta ngarang ge ora wa se ta tele tum de thom ne ngara ta bom cho sung ge khar yu ba te nga yu de ora wa se yin na ta tun jig de mel tun du go du ti to so de ki chung da to so de chi kha so go ji hidet peset so chi pen 동알 겹트버스 대화를 꼬트버스 레로치나 펜도 가르치로치나 삼게 등상 들리시데 휴스 말한 게 내가 테인스 대인 대주다 네 매일 가다다나 다라 인생. 다 소소 파마부지야 스바시야 되는 도성에 찍나가는 효효성에 추억이 쓰게 되는 그래서 냠nen식으로 되는 게 이게는 되는 효되는 까왔지 되는 로신 때때 music 하고래 되어서 당하랑 그 찍나가네 내기 다 합석하다 내기 용답다 먼저 가르친 작게서는 대리할 짠이요 말이스 근데서 제트는 야고레스
So very essentially then take care of each other, you know, give that love and then ngaram molam yus ro
아, 되게 많아요. 참지도 펜트 오셔서 뭐
then
내가 들어치디고 생각.
네.
워비스 쪽에서 로 예리 비세다. 워비스 쪽.
and so that's what I've been doing
America.
since coming to the West, is carrying out the vision and the principle and the values of His Holiness, which is to promote the idea of compassion, non-violence, and ultimately world peace. So she's been carrying out this annual event where we meet. You know, this is held for 7 days. 7 days, 1 week long for world peace. And not only that, now recent coming of His Holiness visit, you know, was also in support, you know, for what Amala has started, you know, which is to establish a peace center here in our community, and so it's towards that.
그지기요. 근데 나나니 워비스 때 나도 지갑 아메리카 지갑 남쪽는 로 지인도다. 로딱 레힐 워비스 시고스.
네.
다 멜링 직동자레스 모두 워비스.
네.
뭐는 다 되네 수술 쪽이스.
네.
수술 로 인도 휴사.
네. So
내가 무메세. 짜는 무메세. 오늘 메다스.
네.
얘는 추구디스 미도 하시네.
네. So of course this is a daunting challenge and ambitious project of building a peace center and also carrying out many of these activities which require a great degree of resources and funds. But of course she started with nothing, penniless, but her determination and her vision, you know, led her, you see, and as a result now this is our 8th year, as well as now 5th year in Switzerland, and so of course her vision is to carry that all over the world, which of course is under the guidance and support of His Holiness Dalai Lama. Very much supports her work, yes, and your work as well.
Oh, good.
Yes, and her work and everybody's work if you're doing good.
You know.
Yeah.
I think we need to thank her and you for this wonderful interview.
Yes.
And we will share your wisdom with the world, and we will tell the world about your peace center.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Then I'm gonna teach you to do the care of then I'm like look down the now and look to the now the shut up kida palore cut the now should then if the gita morangi ti and the temota then she so what
Alright.
and it's somewhere semyen payang malam da then reward you
So thank you for it. She sent it to me ganga. She nangwa email me res. Someone to yours. The gangling also 7 years get on to hit that was.
So she says the time has changed to where now peace is what is so essential, more than the religion.
Yes.
And so she hopes that through this center that we'll be able to, you know, benefit many areas of life that are limited by religion and others. So through this work of peace, you know, almost in a secular nature, that she sees and she hopes will bring multitude of benefit.